The last time, I think the last time I was on here, you were still just playing video games exclusively.
It hasn't been that long, man. Come on, man. Come on. That's like 3 years.
Last time I was on the show with you, you were playing video games exclusively.
Now, granted, that timeline matches up.
Now, granted, at that point,
come on, man, help me out here.
You were
come on, man.
That timeline matches up.
Wow.
You know who else would agree with it? Tracy.
All right.
It's like over time you've become progressively more indie. Like I'm pretty sure at the start of GameEnthus, like you were AAAs because that's all that was out there.
Okay.
When I was like, especially when I was regular, it was AAAs. Yeah, about 20. I want to say the last time I was on like late 2017 because I think it was the Game of the Year show. Okay. That's when indies were getting in. That's when you were heavy on indies. Every GameEnthus was indies. Everybody was playing AAAs. You were playing indies.
Aaron has to be different. You know what I'm saying
2019, you were inexplicably absent for a reason. And I come back now. It's like you now have, and I'm looking at this here, just analog and digital, and have created two notes, like two little side notes here that have both of these.
I would just like to say
that.
I love how he's compressed it though, so it's not like this huge list like it used to be.
Yeah, I am. If nothing, I'm considerate. You know, I do think
it's regularly a huge list. I would just like to put out there, I have not given Linux any money to say these things.
Well, no, I've been feeling this in my heart for years.
I did not. That's what I did not pay anyone.
If nothing else, this is proof that people can change. It doesn't have to always be a negative change.
That depends on your outlook.
That's true. All right. It's October the 13th. This is GameEnthus Podcast, episode 439. I'm Aaron, one of the hosts here. Tiny is here.
Hey, I'm back.
From outer space?
I was actually going to make a reference to not an echo, but only Aaron would laugh at that joke. Or Linux would too, because he was here for it. But it's 100% inside joke from the beginning of the record, or before we started recording.
And once you've explained it,
once you explain things, they're funnier.
Isn't it
exponentially funnier?
Exactly. You know, it's only great when you explain the jokes.
Exactly.
That's how everybody feels.
It's like appreciating the smell of some kind of food when somebody says, you have to do all of these things or you will not appreciate it. So do all of these things.
Is that the same idea as like someone says this is disgusting and then they turn to you and say you should taste it? Like, why?
No, that's different. But that's also
that sounds more like wine tasting. It's like, you gotta smell the bouquet, you gotta let it breathe, just swish it in your mouth like mouthwash, and then you don't get to drink it, you have to spit it back out. It's like,
well, the guy has to pick up the glass,
this.
That's not to get
throw
drunk.
It in your face.
Yeah, that's not
why I'm here. That's not why I'm here.
You didn't come to the wine tasting for the right reason.
Came for the
Have you all seen the movie Sideways before with Paul Giamatti?
I've seen the DVD case for it.
Oh, I like that movie. Now there's a scene where they're at like a wine tasting, and he's really not in a good way. And like are they called spittoons, or people just basically,
probably.
Yeah, he fills
it up.
No, he doesn't fill it up.
He drank from it.
Something I seem to remember a scene where he was.
Where
just
are we going?
Yeah, the latter. It was pretty disgusting. I'm not sure why I thought about that. Mike is here.
Let's all think about drinking spit.
That's what I'm hearing.
Mixed with wine.
Spittoons.
And of course,
they don't call them winoons.
No, they don't. They don't. And of course, I was brought up to speed on how long it has been since Linux has been on the show. So thank God we got him back here. So
it's between 1.5 and 3 years. Like, we're just not sure.
It's somewhere around. It's been somewhere between 1 and 20 years.
Pick a number between 1 and infinity.
Who knows? Welcome back, Mark.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you here. So what is, catch us up with the last 20 years. What's been going on,
man? So let's see, I'm 30 now. So I graduated middle school.
Okay.
It's been great. It's great. Started high school, and high school was great. Let's see, I think last time I was on the show, I was in another house on another part of town. I've moved.
How many times have you moved in the last couple of years?
In the last couple of years, just once.
Just once? Okay.
Just once.
Seems like more.
I mean, I've done the typical millennial thing of not keeping a job for more than 3 years. So every time I do that, I move. Still in North Carolina. So,
hey.
Not much different. I mean, but as we talk about, it's a matter of perspective.
Many things are.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've moved. I think shortly, not too long after I was last on the show, we have found, for those who don't know, I have a 5-year-old son. We have found out that he was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder about May of 2019. So, I've been kind of playing that extra dad mode life of trying to navigate that. So it's a learning experience, but it's something that my wife and we both enjoy. It's definitely still enriching our lives with that. Very, very smart kid. And like I was telling one of the doctors the other day, it seems like every day that I'm with him, he will do or say something that surprises me in some astounding way. Like, yesterday I asked him how he was doing. He was like, I'm feeling okay. I'm like, feeling what?
That's not a 5-year-old response.
No. There was one I was joking around. We've been watching a whole bunch of reality TV. So I was joking around, like something happened, and I was just shouting, I'm so angry. He looked at me and said, no, Dad, you're not angry. You're frustrated.
Wow.
There is a difference.
He's teaching you.
I mean, he is. I was like, son, you're right. I am not angry. I am very frustrated about what is happening, but where did you learn? Let's walk this back. So it's a lot of that. He's picking up a lot of stuff, and it was a thing where, I mean, as parents, I'm pretty sure a lot of parents who go through this, it's like a gut punch. It's a shock to the system to find out that this is what's going on. And they'll tell you hey, he's going to be fine. Like, he's going to be fine. It's not. I mean, not to minimize it, but it's not like the end of the world. He's going to be fine. He's going to be just like any other kid. And yeah, like, we may not have believed the doctors, but yeah, he is definitely proving them right. It's been a journey, and again, I'm just loving every minute of it. To know that he's rocking this. Like, he's taking this. He took this a lot better than we did. I mean, granted, it's not like he knew what was going on, but hey. So moving on, there was another thing I do want to address with the show. I've noticed on the show notes that there's been some incorrect information, and I wanted to hop on show. One, I do appreciate that you took the time to move the show to a different day, because the show was kind of airing at the same time mine does, my new show on Tech Talk Thursdays.
Yeah, it made it difficult. Yes.
So I do appreciate you all catering to my many needs as a diva on Twitch.
Twitch diva.
Yes, thank you. Who is not partnered, who barely gets a payout, but yes, Twitch diva, Major Lennox, you heard it here first. Appreciate you moving your show over to the night so that I could be on. But yeah, we've been doing Tech Talk Thursdays for about a year now. I think we celebrated a year last month. It's been pretty fun. It's like, I mean, I've been trying to do tech and gaming podcasts off and on for several years. This is the longest I've done one. And having a lot of fun doing it, just kind of being spicy. We used to talk tech news, but now they're tech nugs. Because there are things that we talk about that aren't specifically news, but kind of tech and gaming opinion pieces that we may cover. Dragging all the CEOs for the filth that they are, because they're, for the most part, terrible people. Very rarely you get a nice one, but when reports come out last week saying that Zuckerberg lost $8 billion, and it's like, somebody can actually just lose that much money
on
and
paper.
Still be okay.
And still be
on paper,
one of the richest people on
earth. Yeah,
earth.
exactly. Yeah. You know what? I don't care, and that's a problem. Or especially when you find out that, hey, Facebook is an ISP in certain countries, and when it went down yesterday, there were people in countries who did not have access to internet at all.
A major communications hub.
See, when you say that, my first thought is like, what was it, Myanmar? Where you had disinformation leading to people like actually losing their lives and things like that.
Yes.
I didn't realize that they were an ISP.
So they have a product called Facebook Zero.
Okay.
Which kind of provides I think it's like low data broadband for a lot of countries and people. I mean, it's like essentially like, hey, if you don't mind Facebook running your internet, here is some data we can give you and you can surf the web. Just know that we may be collecting that data along with it. I mean, granted, what ISP isn't.
True. Yeah.
It's Facebook collecting this data. And then, when Facebook went down for us in the US, it's like, oh no, we can't spread our usual bouts of misinformation. And who is doing all the research for this vaccine when Facebook is down? But yeah, for like there were a whole country. I mean, there are people in countries that, I mean, even I believe Canada was one of them. I believe Canada has Facebook Zero, and like there are people in Canada who couldn't get access to the internet because Facebook was down. I mean, up until last Thursday night, I was laughing because Facebook employees couldn't get into the building. But yeah, that tone quickly changed when I learned that there are people in developing countries who couldn't get access to things that they need to just survive, because everything is wholly dependent on the internet. So yeah, we cover topics like that and fun. I promise they're fun things too. We like to talk about Game Pass a lot because Game Pass is amazing. But really it's a lot of sad, depressing things that we try to laugh our way through it because the alternative is crime.
You ain't wrong.
And last but not least, I'm a part of the LANFest board. For those who don't know, LANFest is it's like a collection of lands from all across the country, where they do these land parties for good, where they partner up with charities, and while they're playing their games in their little land centers, not little, I've seen pictures of these are places where they go. They're huge, but where they do their land parties and they raise money for local charities that they believe in and they work with. So back in February of this year, I was asked to be a part of the board. And in April, I was voted on. So now I'm doing some good work over there with the good folks at LANFest. We're planning a event right now. I think we just got finished with the Starlight Foundation charity, and I think they want us to do more stuff for them or with them. So that's kind of in the works. But the big thing we're working on now is partnering with the Boys and Girls Club of Hollywood. This is their first kind of gaming event, esports for education, and they're bringing some big name people to this event. So I'm really excited to kind of work with them. Would have been nice to actually be in Hollywood in person, but yeah, because of everything that's going on, my wife is like, yeah, no, we you may be vaccinated, but we still got somebody who isn't. So yeah, how about no? So yeah, I'll be doing some stuff remotely from here, but definitely it's been some nice rewarding work, and I'm really excited to be a part of the team.
Good stuff.
All right, you've been busy. That's all right.
I have to. Like, again, when nobody calls me for 2.5 years, I got to find something to do while I wait by the phone.
Just blame Tiny. That's my recommendation. Just blame Tiny.
I mean,
you're good.
I mean, the real answer there is it was only 1.5 years, according to you earlier. So, I mean, hey, we're good.
My favorite 4 years.
My favorite quote is, especially since the pandemic, what is time?
Yeah.
Although 2020 was a decade of a year, man. I mean, I went to 2020 like
you still can't convince me it's not March 2020 still.
I was going to say
salt and pepper, but let's just
2022 is less than 3 months away.
Oh man, craziness. All right, Mike, what have you been up to?
Yeah, man, I'm just thinking this will just be the decade of the pandemic. The 2020s. Hopefully. Let's hope by the time 2030 comes around, this is way in the rear view.
You're giving us a lot of credit. I mean, what?
Hey, there's plenty of alternatives.
Like Mars or
no, like just ignoring everything and passing on. Never mind. Let's.
All right.
I mean,
so Mike's in his usual chipper mood. Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't. Now I didn't write anything down. And I totally forgot what I was going to bring up.
You want to talk about too many games?
Sure,
Yeah,
we can talk about too many games. So Tiny and Ben and I went to that this past weekend, and Tiny did this. I mean, I'm speaking for you. I'm just taking over. But this was your first Extra Life booth in a year and a half.
This is the first one since I think October 2019.
So yeah, that makes sense.
you didn't do MagFest in 2020?
I mean, technically that's a Baltimore one, so I might have done some time at it.
I mean, look, we're like back in the day, we were like Extra Life mercs. So,
but I guess I probably did do so. Yeah, so January 2020 then. But this is the first. I mean, this is definitely the first Philadelphia booth since probably October 2019. So,
how'd it feel?
It's very tough to recruit people with everyone. Like everyone should be wearing masks. I was very appreciative, but like I can't like smile at people. Like, did you see Jumanji? Did you the first remake with The Rock and whatnot?
Yes, I did.
Remembering Smoldering Intensity, like his superpower or like one of his special abilities?
Yes.
Yeah. You have to try to do that, but when it's only this much of the face,
but I feel like
you got to smolder a lot.
As a society, have we gotten used to reading eyes more for everything?
No, not according to these the school board meetings. No, my teacher can't see my child smile.
So, I mean,
it's need to.
I mean, part of me,
yes,
according to these teachers, not really.
Is it worth it? I guess is the question.
I mean, a part of me thought about maybe we should have gotten like the ones that have like the plastic window, like because like it's just tough for people to know if you're like talking to them.
Don't those fog up though?
They have to.
I wear glasses. Doesn't everything fog up? Like,
yes, I can relate to that. Yes,
so,
all up in here.
Tiny could have just been talking to a pillar the entire time. And
right, like, no. I mean, we did 60 something signups, which is
that's
not great
good.
for too many games,
but
for us. But like, this might be the new normal. I don't know.
So I was going to ask that exact question, and now that you said it, so you got like better than. Like the majority of your signups then were Friday?
Right. Like that's when I was mostly solo.
But do you think it may have been the fact that, and I guess this is me now giving some insight into how I viewed the con, which was Friday was I don't want to say sparse, but more easy to navigate crowd-wise. Is it easier to talk to people that way?
That's probably part of it. I'm going to say it was probably more an energy thing.
Okay.
Like Friday, let's go. I work Saturday morning, and then my lady friend came up, and we did the show, and then we did dinner, and then Sunday I did Sunday afternoon, and like. So there was. I think I think it's more an energy thing. It's like because it's tough. Like you have to get the person's attention while they're walking by and convince them to come up and talk to us. Now, on the other hand, we raised something like almost $400, and that was the tax for people for me to stop talking to them.
Hey, whatever works.
If they throw money into the jar. It'd generally be like a thank you, take a button or whatnot.
I put my whole wallet in there. You're still talking to me.
So
I'm waiting for that left shoe.
So there was that we actually closer to 300. Now that I think about it, but so there was that, and that that's good. So I think it's probably it was an energy thing. That's really the answer.
You bring up an interesting point because I've not the last time we did an event had to have been about July maybe of 2019. It's oh my god, you're right. That's just going to be exhausting going back to that.
Yes,
that's going to be really exhausting.
It's so tiring to be the social. It's to try every time.
I've only had to talk to my wife and son for 2-3 years.
Yeah, that's 0 to 80 in a second. Talk to the strangers, Tiny.
So
Marcus, talk to the strangers.
And that was the thing. A part of it was we did very little downtime. Like the last too many games, it was great. I would finish the shift and then I'd go watch a movie. Like I watched Incredible 2 one day. I watched the second Jurassic World, which wasn't that great, but whatever. Like it was 2 hours sitting in a dark room, not having to talk to anyone. And I didn't have that option this year.
That's because we shared a hotel room.
Well, we had the hotel room, but like it's also the floor went till 8:30.
Yeah,
so like
how did that used to work? It
was never that late before.
It was like 6 o'clock. The floor would close, and then you could go get dinner. And anyway,
okay.
But anyway, all of this aside, too many games I think went very well. Like I think the show, they enforced masks a lot. I saw only a couple people not wear them, and I saw like they call them defenders, they're enforcers or whatever, go in like, hey, you need to put on a mask kind of thing.
Outside of a few,
were people receptive to being corrected, or were they people?
Everyone
arguing back?
saw them, I didn't see anyone argue.
Okay, that's cool. It might have been like they legitimately forgot or something, or not just I'm there to be defiant to make a point because Kyrie Irving is watching.
So I think
I'm sorry,
I think it went well. I look forward to it. They announced next June is the next Too Many Games. Next April is the next game swap.
Mm-hmm.
April 2nd. So
okay.
They didn't want to do it April Fool's Day. They want to.
GameEnthus is going to have to get like 2 tables for that.
We'll just rent out.
I'm going to finally try to make it to that.
Yeah,
never made it to anything.
You say that every time.
I do, like, but
cool.
It's life.
We're selling stuff for Aaron.
Exactly.
So, but anyway, yeah, I think Too Many Games were great. I was happy to see Ben and Mike and hang out with them.
It was a good time. I mean, regardless of anything that happened at Too Many Games, it was still a good time.
Exactly. So.
Which, by the way, since you brought it up, meeting your lady friend, she was very nice, and I hope that she still talks to you after meeting us.
Yeah. Okay, I want to ask about that. Like, so after meeting just two of your friends,
just to be clear, she is definitely going to hear all of this unless you edit it out. Just throwing that out there.
I've said as much as I need to say. That's all.
I'm not saying anything.
I just hope no one said anything stupid.
No, if she was to listen to this show after having met Ben and Mike, that's a good sign then.
So no,
I'll leave it at that.
Everyone seemed to like each other. I've gotten feedback from both sides. So
the surveys were sent out.
Would spend time with again.
Like it's anybody's game to lose at this point.
Right. Would be interested.
Bold move, Cotton.
So we did that stuff. I'm trying, Mike. I'm just now running over. What else have you got?
Well, that's all right. I mean, like, so for the rest of like my experience with Too Many Games, I'll put it this way. I thought there was definitely less vendors than some other years. There were, to my way of thinking, way too many graded games. And because I say that because if I walk past a booth and it has graded games, I turn my head back toward the aisle and continue on to the next because
you should.
I have zero interest in even knowing what the cost of graded games are.
It's a scam, right? I mean, the whole thing is just...
Well, Heritage Auctions was one of the vendors at the show, had their own booth and everything. It was like, I mean, I guess there's a market for this stuff. I am on Facebook groups of various old game collecting things, and some people are really into the idea. I want the cleanest copy of every game for whatever my collection is
that I will never play, but it has to be clean.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, and look, I get as someone who owns physical hardware with the ability to play absolutely anything under the sun for the PC Engine, TurboGrafx, CD, everything other than at the moment I can't do original hardware super graphics, but that'll change. I still like having the physical media, for which I will likely never actually play those physical cards. I'm going to play it off of my EverDrive or the SD System 3 or whatever. But I still like having them, but I also don't want graded. Like, what am I going to do with that? Like I don't run a museum. You know what I mean? I like the idea of still. I can look at the art. I can open it up. I can look at the manual if I want. I can actually physically put.
This is an unplayed copy of Keith Courage.
No, Grant, I do still own some sealed games, but it wasn't because I gotta have it sealed. It's just that's what I got. And at this point, opening any sealed game that you didn't buy brand new from a store within the last 6 months is a fool's errand. Like if I want to take my sealed copy of some old game, I should sell that, buy an open copy, then I can play that and pocket like potentially hundreds of dollars depending on the game.
That makes sense.
Sealed games mean they mean nothing to me as I want. It's just I have, and I'm looking to not get rid of, but unload at the right time, right situation. Anyway, so a lot of sealed, not sealed, graded games in the Lucite boxes and everything. Just I didn't look at the price of any of them. I did see one vendor, this one guy who I respect a little bit more. He had like maybe 2 graded things, but one of them was Magical Chase in a box. And even though I would never ask what the price of that is, because I'm sure it's somewhere in the 15 grand range or so, it was still cool that I could say I think, at least as far as I know, I've seen an original boxed copy of Magical Chase for the first time ever. So that's at least something. I did pick up some stuff. I picked up a couple of TurboGrafx games that I already owned because I could not find my list before I left for the show, and they were games that I forgot that I got in the last few years.
Were they expensive?
Okay. Not outrageous, but Impossimole
that's a terrible game.
It is a
terrible name.
It is a European platforming piece of trash, and it's more expensive than I wish it was, but I thought it was a pretty good deal. What I got that will be available for purchase at the next Game Swap in April
2nd, 2022, in King of Prussia.
Coming through a table near you. That's
that and a loose copy of Sonic Spike, which is a mediocre but not unplayable volleyball game.
What about the Xseed bundle you were looking at? I didn't know if you want to.
Oh, the Atari XE?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I saw this.
That's the one with the pastel buttons on it, right?
Yeah. So this is the consoleized version of an Atari 400/800 computer.
Yep.
Comes in this case, it originally launched with, and in the bundle this guy was selling came with a light gun and 16 games. He was looking for $300. And I looked at it and I was like, that sounds a little high. But I also don't see XEs very often. I did like 3 laps. Rated. I looked at it. Oh, yes, indeed.
That's a good thing, Mike. But...
Okay, good. They kicked down my door. A battering ram.
You got rated on Twitch.
Okay, I thought you were gonna shout somebody out. That's all I was saying. So I after I did like 3 laps, I stared at it. I was just like, I don't know. I started adding up. I took a picture of everything. And I started adding up the value of stuff. And by the time I was halfway done, I was like, oh, this is a much better deal than I thought. And then I took one more lap over there and it was gone. And I was like, but the wild thing is, I know I don't, there's like nothing on there, nothing in that whole list or anything on the system that I would be like actually excited to play. Because the reality is almost every Atari console, the majority of the library are arcade ports. And they're just not as good as the actual arcade, which every arcade game out there, it's not hard to play the arcade version of. So I don't really need to play. It's like, okay, Choplifter, how good is it for the Atari, computer family? As far as I can tell, the only home port worth playing is for the Master System, because the 7800 version that I have is not all that good. So, I mean, in that respect, I don't really mind that I didn't get it, but shocking to me that the light gun itself is worth like nearly $100. I was like,
this story
crazy.
sounds like how like it's like kind of just the whole story of me trying to get an Xbox Series S.
Good luck with
Yeah.
Where I would see it available on Best Buy, and it would do like this virtual walk around where I was like, I don't need it. What I got this for? I've got a good computer. I don't need it. Then I finally convinced myself to buy it.
It's gone.
They're all gone. Every time.
I'll tell you, I have seen. I was in a Staples in the last 2 weeks, and they just had a sign up that said, "We have these in stock," and it was a picture of a Series S. I was in
Staples sold.
Yeah, I didn't either. Didn't either.
To me,
no clue. But
No
I was
idea.
like, I don't know. Maybe that's where they all are on. At Costco, they had cards you could just pick up and check out for the no bundle price of $299.99 for a Series S.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't need that, but it's interesting to see it. But never seen a Series X on a shelf.
The Series S is doing the same thing to me that the Nintendo Switch did when it came out. Where it's like you couldn't get them when they initially came out. Then it's like all of a sudden I look on the Best Buy. Oh my god, they have one in stock. You know what? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to the end of the day.
Yeah.
So then I'll wait. Well, no. Luckily this time, the final time I did this, they were still available. So I'm gonna pick one up. Lo and behold, when I do that, that's when they become more available. Like when the Switch came out, I was like, I was at work, I saw it on Best Buy. I said, you know what? If it's meant for me to buy a Switch, I will wait to the end of the day, drive to the Best Buy where it is, and go pick it up. I did that, and that's when I saw a display of nothing but Switches. Like
it was meant for you to have one.
Well, not that, but apparently everybody who wanted one got one. So now they just had them just falling off a dump truck.
But see, does that pile of Switches make you want it less?
No.
Okay, that's good.
It did not.
Because if the only reason you want it is because you can't have it, you probably don't really want it.
We've all been there before.
I really wanted that Switch. Now the Series S though, yeah, I've got thoughts.
You do have thoughts.
They're not great thoughts.
Yeah, I saw your video and your post about the S.
Yeah, I'm not happy, but I won't dwell on that.
I just
it's
get
a video on YouTube.
Put emulators on it. But although now apparently you don't have to with the new version of the Edge browser. You can just, if you find a site that has a browser that can play via Java and has the ROMs hosted.
I mean, it's my Yakuza machine at this point.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, not at all.
No, actually, this conversation about you want it because it's hard to get or whatever.
You want what you can't have.
No, so can't want what you can't have. I was at my Walmart last night, the one closest to me, picking up some stuff, and I just happened to walk through the game aisle, and they had 3 Arcade 1-Up NBA Jams.
Oh, you should get one of those. I'll get one of those. We're gonna play multiplayer
for $171. And I was like,
online play. That's pretty cool.
They do have online play.
I will PayPal you 100. You should go back there.
So here's the deal. I just looked at BrickSeek, and apparently my local Walmart has 0 NBA Jams at this point. So somebody probably came in and bought them all. But like I saw other people getting them for $100. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait, and maybe a week goes by, and maybe they drop to that level.
Is this another situation where people are just buying them and resell them, or
whoever bought those? I would nearly guarantee it. That's another Facebook group that I follow, is people looking at 1-Up deals, and they've been posting a lot about the NBA. And
why can't somebody just buy my student loan debt and resell that? I will gladly sell them that.
Is there aftermarket?
I'm sure someone
that's going to happen.
It just doesn't benefit you in any way.
Right.
They can pay. No, they can pay me for it.
Yeah, I don't know. That ain't happening. I kept it's like, yes, if that was a game that I was like if that was the Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder game, I would have just figured. I don't even know if I got room in my car right now. I'm just gonna wheel it. I'm gonna wheel it home. Just put it in my cart and I'll roll it down the hill. I'll figure this out because it's only about 2 miles from home. I can make it. But the NBA Jam one, I was like, it's cool. It would be really cool to add to my room, but
doesn't it also have hang time on it?
It has the 3 games: NBA Jam Tournament and Hang Time. And I mean, it's cool. It is cool, but it's just not cool enough to devote to like the last bit of space that I have. But for $100, I couldn't have resisted. So anyway, that's just the thing. Somewhat related, to finish off with the too many games thing, they have the little mini arcade there. Somebody brings candy cabs. They're cool. I once again found a couple of opponents who were close enough to my skill level with Street Fighter that I had a really good time. And that to me is like the sweetest of sweet spots that you can get when it comes to playing a fighting game, is finding somebody who's maybe a little better than you, maybe not quite at your level, but really close enough that you win some, they win some, everybody's actually trying their best. And it was great. I had an awesome experience a few years ago at Too Many Games playing some Street Fighter 3 against somebody who I could tell they were better than me. Mm-hmm. The guy had me every time, but I just eked out win after win after win because I just sort of got something done.
Were they better than you then?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was so obvious that this guy was just frustrated that I was just
they were catching. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's just squeaking out these wins by like a toenail kind of a thing.
Like Mike's chip damage wins.
Like Mike's technique is so random. Like his opponent just had no answer for that. He just couldn't understand
the random things to catch somebody off guard. But like the combos the guy was putting together were just top notch stuff I couldn't do. But it was so fun. And then like when he finally beat me, I was like, dude, I gotta shake your hand. That was so fun. That was the best. And got something somewhat similar this year with Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and just somebody I didn't know, played a few, and then the last time was against Ben. We traded off a few wins on each other, which is great because I think that was the first time I've ever won a match against Ben in Street Fighter 2 anything.
I've ever seen Ben play Street Fighter 2.
Oh, he's got my goat every time.
Oh,
I
thought
it's frustrating.
He was more of a Samurai Showdown guy.
Oh, I don't even play. No, there's no way I would even pick up a controller against him on Samurai Showdown.
Yeah,
because I don't even know Samurai Showdown.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I mean, all I know is I'm better than Aaron at Divekick, and that's it.
Those are fighting words, my friend.
I'm unpracticed.
That game was so goofy. That game was so goofy. One hit. Done. Like it was, but there was some
guy fights me with
there.
his hands in his pockets the whole match. Like, dude, you putting anyway. And last thing, just to finish off, one thing that was on my radar that I really wanted to see at Too Many Games, as cheesy as it is, I was very excited to see Rex Viper, which is James Rolfe's cover band, mashup cover band, and My review is I'm glad a bunch of middle-aged dads are having a good time, and I was entertained. But a lot of people do have very negative things to say, and I will not participate in that. I'm not going to defend. I'm just I'm glad they had a good time. The showmanship was good, and I enjoy being a part of it.
You know what? I will say something. That you told me that they got up on stage and played a song, and they're like, "We've worked really hard on this for the last 3 days." And I'm like, so I have milk that's older than their effort.
You got to level set people. This won't taste good.
4 of they put out like 4 music videos, and those are months old. Like they've come up with these songs in the past. Like this isn't like all brand new, but in this day and age, especially, these guys don't live near each other. 2 of the guys live in Canada, so they said on the stage. It's like they didn't have opportunity to like get together and practice as a band outside of the last 3 days. Is really what he said. So,
Rex fight.
But that's all. It was entertaining.
Tony, you want to see on the outline here? You have something about James Bond.
Yeah. So I took Monday off to recover from being social and trying to get people to sign up to take part. So I was talking with my lady friend, and we're like, "Hey, let's go see the new James Bond." We're like, "We'll go to the drive-in. It's playing there." So I buy tickets, and we go get ready and drive to the drive-in, and there's no one at the drive-in. And at that point, we realized I bought tickets for Thursday.
And what day of the week was it?
For Thursday.
Like,
So,
and you bought tickets for Thursday, and you showed up on.
As in tomorrow.
Oh.
What day did you show up to the theater though?
On Monday.
Okay.
No time to see that movie.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
just see the movie.
And we're going to a comedy show tomorrow night, so I need to figure out how to get those tickets refunded.
I mean, so you didn't like get out of the car, walk up to the stage, and try to act out.
Calling it a stage is real generous. This drive-in uses just container crates as the screen, like they that's the backing. And then there's just essentially like, I don't know, a pulled sheet or whatever.
So the milk crates, people are walking up and down them throughout the entire movie.
I mean, more like shipping crates.
That's how you get your James Bond stunts.
Which is crazy because where did they get them? There's a shortage of shipping containers right now. Like,
I mean,
not milk
crates. They've had them for a while.
They've had them for a while. In fact, one of the regular movie theaters did the exact same thing. Last year, they just got some shipping containers, stacked them up in the parking lot, and they're like, "Yeah, we run drive-ins now."
And that's exactly what they're doing. Like I'm actually very surprised they use an FM signal to broadcast the like movie noise.
That's what the like 70-ish year dedicated drive-in theater does these days.
Linux has
HD radio.
Linux has a question.
Slumming it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Excuse me. Yes, this is Major Linux from MajorLinux.com.
Yes, you please.
Mr.
First time
Tiny
caller.
4. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, It's, as long as I've been here, yeah, it seems like first time. Tiny 415. I recall you saying when you were talking about the auditory component to this movie, you referred to it as movie noises.
Yeah, that was a weird way of phrasing it.
I wasn't going to just say the soundtrack. It's also like, the effects. The
audio?
And yes,
just
all of the audio. The movie noises. Anyway.
You mean the same movie sounds that you would hear in Star Wars when the spaceship is in space?
You know what?
Movie noises.
All of the movie noises. All of them.
Thank you for calling that out, because that was worthy.
All the movie noise.
Give me the rest. So I got something for all of you.
So I mean, I have not been to a drive-in, and so we'll talk about this. I think we talked about this before, but when we saw Shang-Chi in the drive-in as well, I have not been to a drive-in. I don't think ever. Like if I have, I don't remember before this. So like I'm thinking that afternoon before we're gonna how are we gonna hear the noise? Like the noise,
the audio.
How are we gonna hear? I know I'm refusing now.
How are we going to hear the irritating sounds emanating from the movie picture?
We have a question in the chat from Jay Bell.
So
it's a real difference between AM and FM. Yes.
I mean, the biggest thing with AM and FM is the local broadcast signal. So like I think this was like on 87.5. So it's lower on the FM frequency, but like. For something that's only a couple 100 feet,
right? Once you leave the property, you
would think, you would think AM would be what you'd want to do, but
no.
Why not?
I mean, one, there's no such thing as stereo AM.
That's fair.
And the audio quality in general is like this is how HD radio advertised. It was like AM stations will sound as good as FM stations. FM stations will sound as good as CDs. Like it's upgraded audio quality.
The FM, like they're since they're essentially overwriting another frequency because like once you drive off
you have to overpower whatever, right. Which is why hopefully
because the FM frequency is so crowded. So
what happens
over the web?
Well, so
maybe
as someone pointed out, you could have just done a radio, like an internet radio station tuned into that and done. Now, what I did was in the year of our Lord 2021 is bought a boombox from Best Buy, one of two that they sell.
Say anything.
Like I was
they have two models. That's seriously one of the most surprising things I've heard all night. Well, I figured for sure.
I don't know if I would call both of them boomboxes. Both of
radio.
Both of them tune in radio signals. One is like what you would imagine someone like your grandfather going to a baseball game and like, oh, it's this little pocket radio. They can hear the thing. Then the other one is like Probably
people essentially listen to another baseball game while they're at a baseball game. Listen to the baseball game that they're at.
They're probably they're going to because like they can get the commentary.
Yeah, right. I've done that.
They can't.
I've listened to baseball.
You might not be able to hear the people in the booth.
Yeah.
You might want to hear that part.
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm staring at a field and there's like a lot of weirdness going on, I'm like, I don't understand what just happened, and the guy on the radio explains it to me.
Exactly.
I mean, like that guy, what was it, the Yankees game where he called it a home run?
What else matters? I don't know.
Well, like maybe there were several fumbles that you're not able to see, or
in a baseball game.
At a baseball game, the pitcher fumbled the ball to the batter.
I'm not the sports guy, but I'm just saying,
not like literal fumbles, like
an error.
Yes. You know what? I'm sorry.
Or again, like it was like last week. Somebody like it was an announcer who called a home run, but as he's shouting, "Oh my God, they got it! They got it! They got it!" The ball was being thrown back to first base. All of a sudden, like the guy was like, "Wait, what did I just miss?"
Right.
Those are called these sports noises.
Sports noises. Yes.
Sports noises.
Sports noises.
Whatever.
It's a scientific term.
What? Technically right. The best kind of right. Anyway, so yeah. So if you don't want to sit in your car the whole time during the drive-in, which they encourage, like, hey, you can sit in front of your car, have like, lawn chairs and that kind of stuff.
But can you even sit in your car? Bites. Because most new cars, like, you'll kill, like, once you kill the battery, if you keep it on like a low power mode to keep the radio on. I'm just asking.
No, but also you're allowed to turn the car on like every 30 minutes for a minute or two if you need to.
Okay.
On the other hand, other people didn't know how to turn off their lights or.
Yes, this is a huge deal. And so the drive-in theater in Baltimore, their deal is absolutely no turning your car on at any time. If you turn your car on, they might allow a warning if they catch you right away. But like if your car is running, you will be evicted. The guy is like out of his mind, was like, carbon monoxide kills, blah, blah, blah. Also, if you show up and you can't get your lights turned off,
we will smash them for
you.
They
will not let you in unless you cover the front of your car with brown paper, which we had to do the last time because, hey, little did I know with my new car, I can't turn my lights off. And there's no such thing as...
Really?
Turn the thing.
Isn't there like
the daytime running light? No. And apparently on slightly older models, when you have a physical handbrake that you could lift up a couple of clicks, you can fool the car into thinking it's in park, and that will turn off the automatic headlights. But no, I've got the digital on or off parking brake, so I don't have that option because I can't just power through that and just rip the car to shreds into the mud hole that is the parking space for the drive-in movie.
I just bought a car. Now I want to know what car you have because I may want to buy it.
Oh, what? Really? Wait, what I just said was appealing?
This is what is convincing.
It sounds new.
Buy the car.
It sounds newer than what I have. And that's
there are lights that you can't turn off ever.
What's a Mazda? Yeah, a Mazda 6, which is discontinued, by the way. This is the final model year of the Mazda 6.
Maybe because they couldn't turn off the lights.
I'm sure they have the same thing on every model.
It's the same problem in Jurassic Park. Lights were stuck on. So
and because of that, they could see the movement.
Don't whiz on the electric fence.
Oh, yeah. Because it's the best. The best part of that entire thing has always been to me is that somehow it is so appealing that Stimpy can't resist the urge and does it anyway.
Because why not?
I thought we were talked about Jurassic Park.
No, yeah,
the song. Don't whiz on the. Come on,
I'm aware of it, but again, this was
how
before we had cable, so I didn't watch Ren and Stimpy.
Now you can have them beat each other to a bloody pulp.
Right, in that new Nickelodeon Smash Brothers ripoff.
Apparently, the Steam version has some pretty good mods that people have made. So,
hey, anyway, if I can get DLC, legal or otherwise, of Alanis Morissette beating up
Dave Coulier.
You outdid what I was going to try to say because I forgot the other guy's name.
These Nick at Night references, like what are we talking about?
Alex. I think the guy's name was Alex. That was the other. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yes, any live action stuff from Nickelodeon would be fantastic.
You want Pete and Pete to be modded in?
That was like after my time.
Would they be ice climbers? Hey
Dude was my cutoff.
Okay,
Dude,
like
was awful. I couldn't stand
now that
show.
now that he has spoken this into existence, I'm gonna imagine like in 2 weeks they're going to be in Mugen.
I assume they're going to be in
if
this
they're not already in there.
Yeah, probably already there. Probably already there. That's my assumption.
On that note, Aaron, what have you been up to?
All right, what have I been up to? I don't know if anybody's seen this movie called Vacation Friends. Anybody seen that movie before?
Is this like the
Friends?
I feel like I saw a preview for it. Like it's again another like a couple couples go on
John
vacation
Cena,
kind of thing.
Lil Ray Howery.
Yes, I've seen previews for it.
It's fine. The wife and I, we watched it. What was it on? I don't know. It was on some service. I don't know. It was pretty funny. Like
this is like free streaming service, like HBO or something.
It's Hulu.
Yeah, it's Hulu.
It's Hulu because I see it every time I scroll past it to watch How I Met Your Mother. Like,
that's why I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's one of the movies where like you watch the trailer and you're like, that could either be like kind of funny or like hot garbage. It was funny. Like, I enjoyed it.
So it definitely sounds like it was not hilarious.
There were parts where I was definitely cracking up. Like it's not a hilarious comedy, but it's a funny. It was enjoyable.
Okay.
Like a particular scene where John Cena and his lady friend hand Ray Howery and Ivana Orgy some martinis. No, not martinis. What do they hand them? What's the other one? Starts with the M. You know I don't drink. So I always forget.
Manhattan?
Yeah, it's a shame. I know.
Mojito.
No, the other one.
It
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's instead of salt on the thing, it doesn't taste like salt. That's because it's cocaine. It was just like the whole movie was just it was nuts.
Like
so it was.
Anyway.
It was funny.
Martini sounds about right for rimming a glass.
Okay, there we go.
Or a.
It sounds more like a margarita.
Margarita.
There we go.
There you go. We got
Thank
it.
you.
We got there.
We got there eventually. Whew, that was close.
You're right.
Again, I'm gonna come to wine tastings to taste.
You can take away my
come to drink from the spittoon. Don't do that.
Rim the spittoon with cocaine.
Rim it with anything. I'm not drinking it. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter what you do. I'm good. What else? Tanya, I know you finished up last week, but What If was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, the last episode of What If is very good.
Of course, I'm telling the wife and kids, like, because my wife has not seen all of them. I said, it doesn't matter what order you watch them in, you'll be fine.
Just watch the last two together.
The last two are, sequential, but it's whatever. But they really did a good job with that. So I'm not. I'm assuming this is season 1 of hopefully more to come.
So you watched the after credit scene.
Did I?
Did you?
I think I
Wait,
did.
There was one?
There was an after credits. There's
credits?
There is a scene with, I could say who's Peggy Carter and Black Widow.
Okay, yes. I did watch that, yes.
And
something
gets hinted at.
Yeah, I made a joke about that because of what would be found inside might not be exactly what
the corpse.
Exactly. I was just
no, it's definitely like that's. I don't think Linux has seen this because he's very quizzically.
It could be a thing too, where I just deleted it from.
This was like a real like. Oh no, I think you remember this if.
Yeah.
I might have to go back.
Or you could go to YouTube and be like, after credits, What If scene.
Yeah.
So they've already announced. We talked about this last week. This was supposed to be 10 episodes. It's only 9, and that's why you see the Gamora and Tony Stark.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like, did I miss an episode?
So that was supposed to be the 10th episode, but because of the pandemic, it got cut, and supposedly it's going to season 2. What's funny is there's a Lego set out for that scene, that cartoon as well. Like you can get the Sakaran Iron Man suit and whatnot. That was. That I look forward to seeing that, but they also said hey, we can play a lot more with Phase 4 in the next season. So what's going on with Eternals and Shang-Chi and
Eternals comes out pretty soon, right?
Pretty soon, a week before Shang-Chi's available on Disney Plus. I
gotta catch up.
November 5th.
I gotta see Shang-Chi. I gotta see Bond. I gotta see Venom.
Because you won't know how they all interact with each other.
I don't know if you need to see Venom. I have no need to see Venom. I'll put that out
the
there.
first one was
not good,
but I enjoyed it. It was not the greatest ever, but it was enjoyable. It can't be worse, right?
I'll see it once it comes to whatever the streaming service it comes to.
I saw a trailer for Eternals, and it did not look good.
The latest.
I think the latest trailer
actual like
looks
narrative.
real good.
I was like, I don't know, shoehorning stuff that's unrelated into continuity with the why didn't you participate? Well, because
they were told by the Celestials they're not allowed to impact human development.
Because
I think it's crazier. They're going to introduce what a Celestial is.
Well, they kind of did with
Ego,
that.
I don't know.
A little bit.
Well, they did with Guardians because literally the space station Nowhere is inside a Celestial's head.
True.
But again, they haven't come up with the idea of, there's these giant robot people that kind of wander around and impregnate planets. And then they leave people to protect their babies. And welcome to weird
that's
Marvel.
Essentially, and that's what Galactus
and
eats.
the Galactus eats said babies.
It's really the energy. It's not anyway.
Yep. Welcome to we could go so much deeper onto weird Marvel.
Yeah,
sure. Y'all give me crap for liking Metal Gear. Like, I don't get it.
Whoa. Hey, time out. I don't believe anyone, maybe Mike has. Neither Aaron nor I have given you shit for like Metal Gear.
When I said like I understand
we like
Metal Gear
different Metal Gears.
Okay, yeah, that's
just a lie. But I mean,
can believe saying something about understanding it, but I do appreciate the attempt at craziness that Metal Gear is.
If I came and said, like, let me explain you what happened in Kingdom Hearts.
Nobody can do that. That's a lie.
Let me turn my computer off now, and I'm going to bed early.
I mean, it's the same idea as like I watched the last Matrix movie or of the trilogy. The last one, after staying up for 24 hours to study for a comp sci final in college.
You probably got more out of it.
That movie made so much sense. I'm like, it's just a giant what if statement. He had to take up all the resources to reset the Matrix.
I did not like that movie.
You say, what if the Matrix was actually dumb?
All the processes had to be taken over by Smith for the system to reboot.
After the first one, it was all downhill.
Apparently, the Defenders are gonna come out big time, especially if this fourth movie is in any way good. But I assume it won't be.
I'm doubting it. I highly doubt it.
We'll see.
I mean, hey, it's on HBO.
Yep,
I will watch it.
I will watch it.
Right, exactly.
I already have go anywhere.
I am not going to rewatch the other movies leading into it because I just don't care.
I probably will. I kind of want to find a copy of Path of Neo because I saw
I never looked at, but I did
fight like a building at the end for some reason. Like
that sounds
a building size Agent Smith kind of thing. Like anyway,
I did play through Enter the Matrix though.
I have
MMO.
Enter the Matrix.
Okay, yes. Where can I buy a copy of Metal Gear Solid right now?
I mean,
which one? No, the first
they're all in my
PlayStation
basement.
One.
So it's really just the question of which one's better. I say Metal Gear Solid 2. I think that's the best one.
I mean,
I love 2.
Yeah,
I never beat 2. I beat 3.
I love 2.
I enjoy 3.
Wait,
2 story is good, but
I've never
beaten
3.
Aaron,
yes,
you haven't seen the end of 2?
I've seen the end. I just didn't get there myself.
Oh, you didn't do it. You YouTubed it or something?
Yes.
Dude, those naked cartwheels will haunt me forever.
Why?
Because it's out of this world.
Harikari
more so than 69. Anything else in that game?
because there's crazy stuff, but then there's like, I wish I didn't see that stuff.
Kojima's done worse.
Metal Gear Solid 4 is also a very good one. I just want to.
It is.
Like
that needs to be on another console other than just the PS3.
Good luck with
I watched an entire college football game in the span of that one giant cutscene.
That cut, I finished that game at 1 a.m. I went to bed at 4 a.m. when that cutscene ended.
That's ridiculous.
Somehow I had enough heads up to plan ahead and only have a miserable day at work the next day. That's all.
And people are like, I can't imagine why Konami didn't get along with Kojima. What?
I still don't understand.
He made them a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do they care about other than money?
He did make them a lot of money. He also cost them a lot of money on development. But whatever. I'll be quick. Anybody see the new trailer for the reboot sequel to Scream that's coming out for whatever reason?
I have not.
They're
I heard
calling it
about
a reboot?
Well, it's called Scream.
I don't know why they're not just calling it Stream 5, but I never heard anything other than it's just a direct sequel. Like,
Well,
it's got Nev Campbell in it.
It does. It does, and David Arquette's in it, but it's just called Scream.
But it's like also it's both a reboot and a sequel.
Sort of.
Wait,
Is what I was hearing.
And the same could be said for Home Sweet Home Alone, which is
Yo,
coming to
that
Disney
looks
Plus.
so dumb.
It really does. Oh, it does.
Like, in this world where we have the ability to call people and cell phones and all, like, Home Alone doesn't work.
A lot of things don't work when you have cell phones. It's like why would this
all
happen?
of Seinfeld would not work.
Like, Scream is going to be the same way.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, most of Scream could be defeated if only we had the ability to take a picture and send it to people wirelessly.
Yeah.
I mean, but to be fair, like, look, there are a lot of people who walk around with iPhones who still do not know how to use half of the features of the iPhone.
Well, to be honest, if you watch the trailer, you'll see there's a scene where, like, the first woman to get attacked. I don't know if it's the first, but whatever. I think it seems like it was modeled after, like, the Drew Barrymore slang.
Okay,
so
yeah,
she has like an ADT, like a home, like a home alarm system, and she's trying to lock it. She's locking it from her phone, but then someone else has access to it, so they're unlocking it. So I think they're going to try to, like, weave around our technology and still explain why people are being slaughtered. So
So the phone's just been hacked. That's why they can't call anybody.
Right.
They've cut off cell.
It's gonna be this
cell service.
The Scream. Not only is he like a master killer or whatever, he also is a hacker that is able to do all this.
They use Facebook Zero.
Yeah, dumb BS. Anyway, Home Alone also looks dumb. Like,
Home Alone looks pretty dumb. But I noticed that the police officer they talk to, they show his, like, it says McAllister on his jacket.
Oh, does it?
I was like, really? Is this what we're okay? It looked like the older brother from Home Alone.
I was
like, okay. Chet or Chad or something
like that. Yeah, Chet, I think it was.
Whatever his name is, or I forget his name.
Anyway, I watched that trailer and I was like, yeah,
it looked pretty dumb. Yeah.
Keenan.
What else? Just one short thing. This weekend, because I wasn't unable to go to too many games, but there was a local board game convention I was able to go to. So I met up with my friend Bonito, and her friends were there, and we played a bunch of games. It was fun. And we went to an Indian restaurant, and I had dosa for the first time. It was really good.
Now, what is that?
Apparently it's if my memory is serving, it's like a flaky, crispy, like,
it's a thin pancake, like it's like a crepe.
But made with, like, lentils, right, and, like, no flour.
Well, that depends, but yeah.
So I got the Rava Masala dosa, which was like kind of like textured, but the other people got like a really thin, flat one. It was really good. I mean, everything was.
Is that the only thing you can get? You're like, everybody had to get one.
No, the idea was everybody would order their own dosa, and then we just get a bunch of entrees and just share them, and that worked out fine.
Okay, it
was good. I would do it again.
As long as somebody's educating me on what I need to be ordering, I'm all for something like that.
Yeah. Bernita said, "Hey, do you want recommendations?" I said, "Yes, please." I mean,
yeah,
I've had Indian food before, but I haven't had a lot of Indian food, so
gotcha.
It was good. My friends seem pretty cool, so I was gonna try to go back Sunday, but then I was like, "Well, it'll just be me." So I was like, so I just stayed home. And
there were board games at Too Many Games.
There were
quite a few,
really.
Some being demoed.
So many fires. I mean, what?
Hey. Oh, good.
I did walk past the demos because I'm like, I just, you know what? Related to what Tiny was talking about earlier, this is just
the fires.
No, not the fires. It's about the masks and everything, and seeing your mouths. What I think I said to you, Tiny, on Friday is like, as I get older, it's becoming more and more obvious to me, especially now that we're wearing masks, talking to people, when there's any sort of background noise, I can't hear very well. So I am relying very heavily on lip reading to see if I can understand what people are saying. And with a mask on, I kind of do a lot of staring, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to need a hearing aid before I'm like, hopefully after 50 anyway.
I mean, but like that's what we were talking about. Like, you had to yell. Like, I know that when we have recruited in the past, there have been comments on how I will talk to, like, you have to yell at everyone.
Right.
You're like, hey, what's going on?
No,
You're shouting over a lot of things.
Define have to. Because I don't
If
think
you-
Linux or I yell.
If you want to be successful,
Right. You have to tackle people through the booth.
Yes.
if you want to
dive off the table,
you know,
onto them.
if you want this
You
to
like
be a
to donate.
successful booth, you have to,
I
push
learned a
to,
carnival bark.
like,
There you go.
yeah, I mean,
Bring a megaphone. You know?
Again, it's like, hey, how you doing, or what's going on, or like you need to get people and like then you have the people that stop but like still pretend they didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Like maybe if they
you
just stand
talking to
still,
me?
I'll lose, like, I'm a T-Rex, I'll lose their
He can't see me anymore.
He
if I
only
just
sees
continue to
movement.
walk.
So anyway, yeah. It was a good show.
Good. Well, that was it for me. So, Linux, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a whole bunch of Civ 5. Apparently, what I end up doing is if I'm checking email during the weekend, I'll load up Civ 5 in the back. Just worse.
Nuclear gun.
Well,
That's like a name of an indie band.
Do you want to explain the background of that?
So I think from what I understand, like Gandhi's peace set, like his peace setting is like so to the extreme, to where it just kind of it's almost like a flip bit or something like that.
That's my understanding. Is like he's on so far on the peaceful side that if you push him to go more peaceful, it exceeds 255. Like this original Civ, like Civ 2.
Oh, it doesn't like wrap around.
And it wraps around to make him the most aggressive. It resets it's to 0, and he's ready to kill everyone.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if they fix that in Civ 5. I don't know when that happened, but I've never seen Gandhi go nuclear in any version of Civ that I've played. But
give it time.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Like actually, I think one of the games I played, I was Gandhi and I did that. So, but I was nowhere near peaceful. I just got bored after a while. So I've picked up Metroid Dread. This is the first Metroid I've played.
Like ever. Oh wow.
And I don't know why it's taking me so long to play Metroid. I do not understand. As someone who loves the Ori games, it is like, wait,
you should.
Yeah, it was tickling that itch, and I didn't realize that's what it was doing until like late last night. I said, wait a second. Oh, this is just Ori. Oh, wait, no, Ori is just Metroid. Oh, I see what I've done here. I shouldn't have waited this long to play Metroid. This is great.
I mean, they don't call them Orivanias.
You know what? I drew that conclusion.
They could.
Oh, that's why they call these things that. Oh.
Although it's been so long since there's been a backtracking. No. I mean, Metroid on the 3DS was only a few years ago. The remake of 2,
2018.
But it's been since Order of Ecclesia on the original DS since there's been a backtracking 2D platforming Castlevania. Well, I guess Mirror of Fate
doesn't. Okay.
Mirror of Fate was sort of, but not really, not like those games. So. Not those games.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't think I would have had. I wasn't as interested in playing any of those. And I could only play Ori because was it Major Nelson was talking about he hooked himself up to a heart rate monitor when he was playing Ori. It's okay, if a game is like that, let me try. And then I just fell in love with Ori. So okay. So now that I've played Metroid Dread, I was like, okay, now I see it. And that's the only game I really want to play now. I really want to play Far Cry, but not as much as Dread. So I'm glad I picked up Dread as opposed to Far Cry.
How are you feeling about the Emmy battles? I've heard mostly positive, but then some mixed things.
I mean, I'm a person who does not like conflict much. So like, hey, if I don't have to fight anything, that's great. I don't like things stalking me, but I mean,
no. But like, it's
not that bad.
The thing with the Emmy battles is they are going to be very specific. Like, you don't have the ability to fight Emmy until you find whatever unique energy, which is always going to be post a boss battle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like it's not that you have the tools like, oh man, if you really put in the work, you could fight this thing and win. You just have no choice. Like, and your computer, which is named Adam because of stuff that happens in Fusion and whatnot, just really likes to tell you how hopeless it all is.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yo, you are going to get your ass kicked.
You will surely die.
Right. Like,
your chances of your chances of failure is 99.99999%. Like, man, dude, like
don't ever tell me the odds. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, like that. It makes sense why they call it Dread, because yes, there's always this like Mr. X kind of threat.
Yeah.
Sitting in the background, like, stalking you.
You'll be slashed to ribbons.
It's good
that arbitrarily can't follow you through some doors.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's good to know, like, there are places where you know they can't go, so you are essentially safe. And it's like, I'm sitting there, like, preparing myself. Like, okay, if I go through this little portal, that's where the Emmy is. Am I ready to go through there? No? Okay, I'm just going to chill here for a second, do something else, then I'll go in. But, yeah, I know where the Emmy is. Like, okay, I don't go over there. But outside of that, it's been pretty fun. Like, I get stuck every now and then, but only because I do not understand the Metroid things. Like, hey, apparently there are parts of a floor you can shoot, and it's like me it does. Well, I don't have the bomb yet, so
okay.
So it's like forever to get the morph ball.
Oh yeah, I finally got that last night. Like, I'm not sure if the shootable floors are clearly marked. I can't really tell on this. Like, I'm playing handheld, so I can't really tell. So there was a part where I was stuck. I was like, well, I don't know how to progress it. There's nowhere to go. I looked up a guy and said, well, yeah, if you go to the far left and you shoot in that corner, the floor, like, that's a shootable floor. I was like, how did you see it? How did you know that was it? Were you just? I swear I was randomly shooting and did not apparently hit everything but the shootable floor.
Gotcha.
Oh,
that's a Metroid game.
Yeah. So I was like, when I found that, I said, okay, well, now the rest of this is easy. So now, like, I'll keep the walkthrough on my phone and just like, okay, what am I looking for? Okay, I'm looking for. Okay, that's where I got stuck, and just like do the thing that I was missing, and it's easy selling after that. I've not read any reviews, and I think there was a video talking about, like, is Metroid Dread too hard? I was like, I don't think so. Like, it just seems like Ori to me. In level of difficulty when facing bosses, it's actually, to me, easier than Ori.
I mean, I don't know. I feel lost sometimes, like that. I just have no idea where I'm supposed to be going. There's no real indication.
I mean, again, that's Ori for me.
I get frustrated when games do that.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like, that's just like, that's Ori to me. Like, at least with Dread, I can set a waypoint and then follow it somewhere. Like, I don't think that exists in any of the Oris that came out. So
waypoints help. So that's
yeah, good. Like, it's not that different to me. Let's see, I finished Yakuza 0 on stream. As much as, like, I will say that Watch Dogs 2 is my favorite video game of all time. Why aren't more video games like Yakuza 0? Like, I'm just gonna put it. I don't understand how.
What do you
play the Yakuza?
What
game.
do you mean by that?
The end of Yakuza 0 was just so amazing, so action packed. Like, I was screaming constantly. Where I had to be reminded on chat that, hey, your son might be sleeping. You may want to come. I said, no, I'm sorry, I cannot contain this, because
you were really moved by Yakuza 0.
I was so moved. And I was like, why can't more games be this? Like, now, I want. Like,
how many Yakuza games have you played?
That was the first one, and that's why I'm really kind of wondering.
You're playing chronologically.
Yes, I am.
Or story chronologically.
Yes.
What if they release a Yakuza -1?
So that's when Kiryu was like in grade school.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. Then you have to start all over, and you have to play 0 again to play them chronologically.
I mean, I'm just for that I would. But it's that thing of, after playing that, wondering, and like knowing that Yakuza 0 kind of came back when more and more people were hearing about and playing Yakuza in the West. Like, what happened between 1 and 5 to where it just dropped off?
Well,
Like,
I mean, you know the original Yakuza 1 release, right?
yeah,
Like it has all the like big name Western stars and like
right.
Michael Madsen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what happened between 1 and 5?
They stopped like 1 to everything else. They stopped.
Yeah, 1 I don't think did well enough to justify localizing anything else.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what was it about those games where it just didn't do well? Because like, I loved 0. If all the rest of the Yakuzas are like this, which again I don't know.
0 is very new.
Yeah, I mean, again, like what I'm saying is like, if they're all kind of like silly, goofy, but like they're also soap opera storylines, and they get very bombastic towards the end. If they follow that same formula,
it sounds about right from what I've heard.
Well, like what happened between 2 and 5? To where it just didn't capture people's attention.
Well, but
where all of a sudden in 6 and then 0 and then I guess kind of 7 and then the Judgment game. Like what changed?
So like my understanding, and I have a sealed copy of Yakuza 1 downstairs for PS2. So the one with Michael Madsen and whatnot. Like it's not a silly version of that game. Like they made it more serious. As compared to what you see in the later games where people are like summoning showers of lobsters with their cell phones.
That's the thing.
That is, that is a
PS2
summon
era
in Judgment, I want to say.
You're competing directly with the Grand Theft Auto games.
Right. Like it's a different piece. So
is Kiwami more like 0, or is it more like the original, just that it looks better?
No, I think they essentially it's the Japanese release in the 0 engine, because like they're all
I'm talking about the story, not like how it looks.
But it's the Japanese release, not the localized US release on PS2.
So things were just lost in translation.
I mean, like you had Michael Madsen from like the Reservoir Dogs doing his like, I'm very serious, blah blah.
Can I not still hear that? I kind of want to hear that.
I'm sure there are tons of
YouTube is your friend.
There's tons of YouTube stuff about that. But I mean, it's definitely something to check out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Yakuza always had their fans, but it is definitely obviously blown. And now that you can get you can play through.
Yep, you can get all of them on Game Pass.
Game Pass, so it's definitely a piece. I will say this. You have your next game on your list. I was yelling during several times.
So let's not spoil it. I've only played 2 chapters of it because and I'm mad at myself because again, I love this game. I love this series so much, but I don't know what life happened, as strange as it was.
So Life is Strange True Colors is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Not Life is Strange 2, just for Michael.
2 colors.
True colors.
I only played the first one. I haven't played anything since.
When they release 3 colors, I'll
okay, so if you're in chapter 2, well, okay, they've already pulled at your heartstrings with the end of chapter 1.
I am not. Yeah, was ready. I was ready to fight somebody after that.
So, and then I'm gonna shut my mouth. There are some things, and there are people that they are setting up that you.
Oh, okay. I guess I know what I'm gonna do this weekend.
It is so good. I enjoyed the heck out of that game. I would play that game again. I have not played the DLC yet, but I know it's out.
Yeah.
But the radio DJ is awesome, also in that game. So
how about this? About her. So at least the experience I've had is really only the original Life is Strange and Before the Storm. The original Life is Strange, the power that you had was reversal of time. Before the Storm, the power was sarcasm or something.
Something like that.
I mean, yeah, it's her snarky attitude, but it's also that she like was able to travel between timelines. Because like in Before the Storm is the one where you come up with the timeline where your friend is paralyzed. Right?
Or no, that's in the original.
No, that's the
game.
first one.
Yeah, that's still the original. Like there was no real power. I know, like
she could influence people, sort
of,
like by calling them jerks or
LA
something.
Noir-ish. Like you could like read. You were supposed to read how people reacted.
And then scream out
maybe.
All I remember is the guy at the bar.
I bring it up because like does each game that has the Life is Strange name have a power.
Yes.
Something.
Yes.
I mean,
so
again,
what is
before the storm is debatable, but
you made fun of me.
Okay,
you made.
But
fun
there's
of
a
me.
thing. There's a.
We talked about this last week. You made fun of me for what this power was. This your character Alex is able to empathize.
Yeah.
It's Deanna Troy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's
okay.
and the closer she gets, the stronger the feeling.
But I felt like when you said that doesn't seem real. That seems like an interpretation of.
Well, no, like this is literally her power. Like if she's further away from someone, she sees what they're feeling and like they're a color, so like purple or blue or whatever, based on the like what they're feeling. They get
like
closer.
A mood ring.
Yes, honestly,
think Inside Out.
Someone wears a mood ring in this, and I'm like, that is way too on point.
Yeah.
But like if she gets close enough, she can start actually feeling like reading their thoughts and what they're fearful of or what they're anxious about or whatever. But it also impacts her. So like the very first time you see her use this power, a guy's beating up her brother. And she starts channeling that anger, and she beats the guy.
Oh, she
takes him apart. It's like, and that's the thing. But there are other times where it's like, hey, this person's really scared because they're being pressured, or this person's going through grief, and you have to like make the decisions of like, do you want to take that away from them or help them through it? Would it just be easier if they didn't feel it? And anyway, yes, there's a lot of stuff there.
It becomes somewhat mind readery too,
right?
And like that, I think that's one of her like her initial issue is the fact that they feel that feeling too strongly, it takes over. But it becomes a moral complication. At least for the 2 chapters I played, it's a moral conundrum for her because she's realizing that wait, now I can just read these people's thoughts, and it's like, should I be influencing them because I can read these thoughts?
There is a violation of trust that is occurring because of what she can do, and she realizes this, and she has to deal. Now, she's not intentionally doing it most of the time, but like there's a part there you have to kind of wrestle with.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Yeah, I need to.
Good.
Yeah, I need to sit down and finish that.
This sounds pretty good. Like I really did enjoy the first one. I've skipped everything. This sounds interesting.
The second one had the Life is Strange 2. I was upset for most of it because like just the topics of racism on top of all of that is like this is touching. This is making me feel things like every person I meet I want to punch in the face. Like, no, this is
so the way you're saying it, was it handled well?
Yeah,
it was handled like it was handled in a way like, yep, like I know exactly what they're feeling. I've seen this before.
Okay. What I'm hearing is you have to be in the mood to play this kind of thing, and also like when
any of them, you have to be in the right frame of mind. Like the first one, like halfway through, and that thing happens halfway through. It's like, nope, nobody told me that this was going to happen. No.
What happens in the first episode of this one? Anyway,
no. Anyway, let's move on. Deathloop.
Let's talk about Deathloop.
Looping death. Okay.
Yeah. Like I think I'm still like in the tutorial for it. I was like one of the few PC players who experienced the whole stuttering issue, but according to Digital Foundry, it's because of the fact I was trying to be fancy with my new graphics card and play it at a very high frame rate, and apparently the camera does not like that. So I hadn't gone back to it since then. I think they've I want to say they put out a patch to fix it, or at least according to Alex from Digital Foundry, he said like if I put the frame rate back at 60 FPS, I shouldn't see it. Which I mean, it's fine. I mean, I like to play at things at 144 hertz, but I mean, it's whatever, I mean, I only spent an ungodly amount of money for this graphics card.
And a display that can, show you 144 hertz.
Right. I mean, God.
They're not giving them away.
Right. But I'm not like, I need, I'm going to eventually get back to that too. So many games that are coming out. Because like I think I mentioned before, I want to play Far Cry 6 as well. And yeah, eventually I'm going to find some time. But Forza
let me know how that works.
Yeah, Forza is on the way, and I want to play that.
This is a regular Forza or Horizon year?
This is a Horizon.
I love Horizon.
I love Horizon.
So,
I don't know when they're going to come back with a mainline Forza, and actually, I would be I would be okay if they didn't. Like we have Project Cars for that, and for those on PlayStation, you've got Gran Turismo. Mm-hmm. I am quite all right having a sim racer take place in an EDM festival, which is definitely a place I would want to be all the time, all day, every day.
When is this is Horizon 5, right?
Yes.
When is this out?
In November. No, it'd have been out by now, but yeah, I guess
and it's Game Pass, obviously, right?
Yep. But I will probably buy the expensive one because if history repeats itself with this one, I think if you buy like the more expensive one, it's like available 3 days early, and I want to play this as soon as possible.
Well, but you also don't want to lose. So like one of the weird things that has left Game Pass is
the older ones, right?
Forza 5 or
Motor. I think it was Motorsport 7.
Well, it's the one that had the Top Gear stuff in it because it was licensing. I thought that was the reason that got pulled off. So that was the launch Xbox.
That'll do it.
One.
So
version?
that was 7.
Oh, was it 7?
I think so. I thought
that was 5. So
was it 5 or 6? I don't remember.
Anyway, so like I don't know. I mean, hey, it's good to buy some stuff. I'm just going to mention this real quick. Since you haven't played Metroids before, you know what the best way to play Metroids are, Linux?
I mean, sure. I could get the Mister.
Well, I was going to say a Wii U, but also the Mister is a great option.
Where do you want to find a Wii U right now?
I believe all the Metroids are available on Wii U, up into Dread.
Even Fusion.
Yes, because they did the Game Boy games on eShop.
Is the store still open?
It is. And also, is that going to stop you? Like, is that really the thing? Like, you could hack a Wii U in minutes.
I mean, I could do that.
So I'm just saying, but also a Mister
on a Wii U. Pretty much.
Look, I'm looking at the chat, making sure nobody from Tech Talk Thursdays on here. Nobody would stop me from. Okay,
but yes, also a Mister would be a great way to play. I played through both Zero Mission and Fusion before. I mean,
Metroid's also just on. Is it Metroid and Super Metroid on the Switch?
It is. It's also on the Super Nintendo and Nintendo Classics. But then you're not playing the Zero Mission. I will legitimately say I don't understand why someone would go back unless they want like nostalgia for Nintendo and play the original Metroid when Zero Mission is an option.
Oh, okay.
It's like don't play 2 on the Game Boy or anything.
Play the 3DS version.
The 3DS one, even though it's not perfect. Well, what game it is?
How would I know?
Exactly.
Because we've told you, like right now, like this conversation is happening.
I mean, it's like me listening to a reviewer. So, you can tell me that the game is bad. I'm still going to play it if that's what I wanted to play.
We're
changes nothing.
Like I'm hearing very mixed things about Far Cry 6, but I still want to.
I want to play Far Cry 6. I'm just waiting till it's $40 in a week.
It will be.
I could do Avengers or Scarlet Nexus and just wait till it's on Game Pass.
Oh God, we should play Avengers. I already played through Avengers. I enjoyed that story mode. We could play the Black Panther content. It would be awesome.
That's the only reison why I looked at it. It's like the Black Panther stuff is on there. I should.
I was interested before, but I mean, once it hit Game Pass, like I said, I've downloaded it. It's on my system.
Yeah,
finding.
We have to have time.
Bring back these GameEnthus game nights, man. I remember that from like 2 decades ago. Yeah,
20 years ago. Wow. Okay.
So far,
how old is the 360? I mean,
360.
That's about the last time I remember we were doing that.
Yeah.
What did we play? I don't even remember.
I mean, it was a regular thing. The last thing I remember playing, and it was funny because I think y'all mentioned this a couple episodes ago. Y'all were talking about was it Perfect Dark?
Okay.
I
remember trying that.
I thought it was going to be Blur. Like
I think it was Perfect Dark Zero. I think that's what we played.
I liked Blur. I do not like Perfect Dark.
I did not play Blur. I played Split Second.
Cool.
Split Second was cool too.
Split Second was really cool.
But Blur is Mario Kart with real cars.
Yeah,
right.
It was.
But anyway, that was the Deep Impact to Armageddon. Car combat games that year.
Which one was which?
I I mean, Split Second is the bigger whatever. Like you were
think that one
destroying
was more
airports.
popular?
That was the Dante's Inferno.
No, I think it was the more spectacle.
Yeah, it was like you could like
the more Michael
was,
Bay of
like
it
it was a Disney made game.
It was a Disney published game.
Yeah, it felt like an ABC competition show.
Right.
Like, and that's how it just cements. Like, I could tell this was made by like this. Like Disney has some influence in it because this seems like something that would air on ABC if it was safe to do it.
Right, without all the
everybody
death that
die.
obviously is occurring in all of this. So,
like, this seems like if made by the people who made the Mole or something. It's like, yeah, I can see this airing on ABC. This is. I would watch this.
Every episode includes $7 billion of damage and minimum of
ratings.
3 dozen deaths.
Miraculously, those stages were rebuilt every time I played it. It was great. The airport miraculously just was ready to go
back together.
Yeah,
right. It was so good. Anyway,
last on the list, we played Astroneer. Did a tech talk Thursday plays with the crew. We played some Astroneer. I still have no idea what I'm supposed to do in that video game. Apparently we had some very talented scientists who were making all the things while me and another co-host were just digging each other into holes. Because
there has to be another way to say that. If I'm going to get made fun of for saying movie noises or whatever, like
each
how
other
come that just gets okay?
Let's say it with confidence.
Speed holes.
Putting speed holes in my car.
Makes your car go faster.
But yeah, like that was plenty. That was a lot of fun. Definitely looking forward to for and I hate to use this term, spooky season.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't like the term, but or spoopy as a lot of people use. We're playing Back for Blood.
I was going to say there's 17 days left of this, and then get over that stuff.
Yeah, look, October 1st. Again, I was like, I saw the jokes of like everybody waking up on October 1st because wake me up when September ends. I was like, wake me up when October ends, please. I'm going to bed now. But yes, we're going to be playing Back for Blood, which came out today, I think.
Yesterday. I will talk about it because I played it with Ben and friend of the show, Jeff.
So we're looking forward to that because I do not want to play Dead by Daylight anymore. I can't play Dead by Daylight.
I don't understand that game, and I've played it.
I'm not
like a decent amount.
Play 2 rounds of it. I was like, yep, okay, I've had my fill. And
turn on the engines and
Is Back for Blood also first person?
Yes.
Yeah.
100% first person.
I mean, it is Left 4 Dead. It's Left 4 Dead.
Okay, just checking. I mean, because like that's like kind of one of the things is like if one game compared to another, a big differentiator could be this isn't third person versus.
Actually,
this is pretty on the nose. You could ask the KFC Gaming Twitter account as well.
I saw that.
Wait, what did they say? What did it sound?
Oh my god!
It was like when you have no class. I forgot. Like it was just like a random dig.
Somebody shared it.
Right, they did a random dig, and then Black or Turtle Rock came back and said
11
herbs and spices. It's still no taste.
Yeah, so
and I was like,
it was so random. Like, why are they going at each other?
Yeah, KFC Masterpiece has its cheap copy.
I see it.
It is the worst.
Like, what are y'all doing? Like, what is?
Well, I'm not sure if I can.
And KFC Gaming drew first blood, so I don't know what's going on. And the chat, Scoop Move says, can you pick your characters in Back for Blood, or is it a set group?
When you start the game, you have 4 characters to pick from. And you can pick that character. So when you load in, it randomly assigns one, but you're loading into like the camp, and all you do is walk up to the door, and that has your customized change character option.
I played the beta. I like the beta of it.
At least 4 other characters to unlock. It's based, I think, on your playthroughs. So I don't know. The card system's interesting because it's really like you say card system, and I think people get nervous about that. Like, but it's more like cool. You pick a card every time you hit a safe room, and like the first card I go for usually is turns my melee into I use a knife, so it's a one-hit kill to zombies. And it's just like cool. You add modifiers to yourself or to your team, so they can be like buffs for everyone. But that's it.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the KFC Twitter account thing and the responses to this tweet. This is ridiculous. There was I'm sorry. I knew you were talking.
It's okay.
Anyway, no, it's funny. It's legit funny.
Yes, it is.
When they're like, you know, claiming that Back 4 Blood is a cheap copy of Left 4 Dead, and like here, like I'm not gonna say anybody's names, but like somebody said, like I see hundreds of comments saying, "Oh, it's made by the same studio," yet I fail to see how that's relevant at all. Does Back 4 Blood being made by the same studio magically make it not a cheap copy? And the response is being made by the same developers, pretty much make it a sequel in all but name. It that this isn't a reading comprehension problem, it's critical thinking problem. You also failed. And then underneath of that, so somebody responds, "This account sucks," and the response to that is the exact same tweet. Every masterpiece has its cheap copy, and it's a picture of Doom and Doom Eternal. So anyway, that's the train. I'm done. I'm not looking at it anymore. I've seen it.
It's funny. It just came out of nowhere. Like,
why they're anyway starting stuff.
Yeah, it's like when I looked at it and like not even thinking about it because I didn't look at the quote tweet initially. I looked at the initial, like just the image. Like, wait a second, aren't they made by the same people? And then that's when I looked. Oh wait, okay.
Like, I don't know. Like, I will say that just because it's made by the same people doesn't mean like it can't be copying or plagiarism. Because like I wasn't allowed to just even if a paper was legitimately on topic, I wasn't allowed to submit the same paper to 2 classes during like grad school. They said that was plagiarism of myself.
But you
got permission from you.
That reminds me.
Like this isn't literally the same code with a different name on it.
So
this is just similar.
I changed some things. I put extra spaces after the periods or whatnot.
But the argument is essentially if they always wanted to make Left 4 Dead 3 and now they don't have the legal right to.
Right. They don't.
This is just they just have to call it something else. But yes, the intent is this is supposed to be Left 4 Dead 3. They just they can't. And as long as the lawyers check all the boxes, say okay by me.
Oh, speaking of Left 4 Dead, I forgot. Like that was the last GameEnthus game night we did.
Oh, we did do that.
Yeah,
which is why I'm very surprised Aaron wants to play Back 4 Blood. Like you've mentioned that you kind of want to play it, and you hated playing Left 4 Dead that night. So I look forward.
Did
I remember
the fact that you remember that. It was so like, why do you
got very frustrated?
Is this we played this on PC, Left 4 Dead 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think you like gifted me a copy or something because I don't believe I own that.
Why would I be upset about? I don't know.
You got very frustrated at the like continuous deaths and whatnot. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just remember there was a whole bunch of.
In my version of the game, every zombie was the witch, so it wasn't fun.
Oh, screaming! It
just wasn't fun.
But to get back to Scoop's question, so you do get to pick your character. When you start the game, it is the 4 initial characters. So like everyone has to be one of those 4 character. Like you have to. So there is a set group. You do get to pick which person you are in said group. So
one of 4, not one of like 16 in a group.
Well, so again, you start off. There's only 4 available because you haven't unlocked the other characters. There are characters
gotcha
that you can play as. It's just like I only put me, Ben, and Jeff got through like most of Act 1, and I didn't unlock anyone yet. So it's just a question of what's available.
But yeah, that's all I've been up to.
All right, Mike, how about you?
I have not touched Metroid Dread. I don't know exactly when I'm going to, but I'm still playing Ys Origin as my second selected character, which is Hugo Fact, and I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I mentioned that last time, I know, but continuing on, he's very snarky, he's very self-confident. It's interesting. It's it's going by faster than I expected it to. A lot of the stuff that I read ahead of time was like, yes, you're going to get through a second playthrough with the second character faster than the first time. And I'm thinking, how much more? There's still the same amount of grinding and everything, but I'm not getting stuck by anything, even though some of the problems are solved in slightly different ways. It's essentially like, instead of this character giving you a harmonica, this character gives you a hammer, and you do a slightly different thing with it, but the end result is exactly the same, and then you move on. So it's not like a completely different game. So at least so far, I'm still enjoying that, and I'd really rather finish this before starting Metroid, because if I like Metroid, I'd like to just power through it and get done. I don't want to go like back and forth. So I don't know, but I'm not in a major rush. I also kind of feel like I played Super Metroid a few times. I've only played Fusion once, and I think maybe I'd like to play Fusion again, but
cartridge,
you know, in a bubble, like in a vacuum.
Mike,
time has no meaning.
Mike,
I would replay all the Metroids first.
Mike, there's a way you can play Fusion again.
The Wii U.
Go ahead. I have the ambassador program, so it's just on my 3DS.
I was gonna say, me and Mike have also been talking about Misters lately. So
no, I don't need any of that. I've got it on my 3DS. It was ambassador game.
Yeah, you do.
I'm kind of tempted
to
maybe
just there.
Dip my toe into the Mister, but I don't know. That sounded was
I don't know.
I can start asking you about it too. Hey, you should.
I mean, wasn't at one point the components were hard to get? Like it just recently became hard to get the components again.
I mean, that's going to be the thing.
They were cheaper before too.
I would
subsidizing one of the boards.
I would be more concerned about the subsidy from Microsoft getting reduced even greater.
Yeah, it's like hybrids and solar panels and things.
Yeah, D10 Nano is $176 on Amazon at this moment.
But this site where you can buy the whole thing put together for like
you bought it was how much?
Bucks.
I think it was around 100.
Oh.
I mean, it also tells me I bought it December 27th, 2019.
Which I want to say is probably around the time when you sent me that link. And it's been sitting in my...
You can get it put together, but like the amount you're paying...
Yeah, you should just get the parts and put it together.
Like we can...
I mean, it's almost cheaper to get this Wii U now.
That's true. And easy, that's...
Now, see...
buy everything while it's affordable. Because in 10 years, it won't be.
Oh, I will say this, and this is weird. There is it's probably some like third-party seller on. I'm like, there's Mr. stuff on Walmart.com, but I'm.
Oh yeah, there's no way Walmart proper is selling Mr. anything.
Walmart Market,
Mr. Coffee maybe.
Mr. Pibb.
I'm just saying, you get that D10 Nano, FPGA. Right now, they've got like.
I'm hearing noises coming out of your mouth.
there's an alpha core for PlayStation 1, so you got everything up to PlayStation essentially.
In Japan, they call it a 0 core. That's
anyway,
nothing. That's a stupid joke.
What else have you been playing, Mike?
I put a little more time into Artful Escape, which it feels just like a narrative. It's a game. It's barely a game. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing where you hold X if you want and slide down a lot of hills, and then the boss battles are unlosable. You just keep trying until you get the Simon down. And I
expected more.
I rode the Warp Turtle.
Haven't we all?
Well, not if you didn't get there.
Back in my day, I don't know if that's what we called it. I mean, what?
I don't know. I assume at this point I will finish it because every time I turn on, I just do whatever I'm supposed to do, and then I get a little farther. It's not like I have to like figure anything out or lose any progress. So sure, why not? I don't know. The guitar riffs repeat a lot. And it's like, yeah, it's cool, but I don't know. But that's not much else.
Yeah, I wanted more from that, but that's okay.
With all that money you gave to the developers of the game.
Hey, I paid for that Game Pass, buddy.
Yes, you did. As we all did.
It looked more interesting than it turned out to be, to me at least. So
Well, I will give my opinion when I finish it, assuming I do, as to the whole of the thing. It's really just, it's sort of a narrative, but it really isn't even. The narrative is a bunch of nonsense. I mean, it's just, it doesn't, to this point. I mean, maybe it wraps around and explains something and it tells something that means something, but as of right now, it's just a strange trip. But you know, it's semi-entertaining, and it's part of Game Pass, and I get Game Pass Quest rewards, which is almost like money.
Yeah,
that's a way to look at it.
The almighty dollar.
So, Aaron, what have you been playing? Because I know we have a time.
Yeah. So, in terms of digital stuff, I started a game called B.A.T.S on the Switch, which stands for Bloodsucker Anti-Terror Squad. You start off as
really wanted that acronym.
Yeah, they really did. It's a 2D, it's a pixelated, a 2D action platformer where you start off as like a Dracula-looking character, and like you're killing all these like people in hazmat suits and these zombies that spew acid. And then at the end of after you beat the first boss, and it controls well, it controls pretty tight. You get to unlock your next character by just freeing someone who was being, I guess, held by the boss. So I unlocked the character who reminded me of Blade, and then the second stage, I am the character who reminded me of Blade. You have a sword, which helps because the Dracula-looking guy only just punched. The sword has a lot better range.
Gotcha.
I don't know. The controls are pretty tight. It's kind of weird, but I like it. It's fun. I don't know. So far, so good. What is the name of that mode in Monkey Ball? Is it Monkey Target? Where like
Target where you're trying to hit the
yeah. There's a game called Bonito Days on the Switch. They sent me a code for this game. It basically is like that mode, the game. So like you go off a ramp or through an environment, and then you're trying to like glide to score the points. I'm so confused. It just like I go to tutorial. I'm thinking it's gonna be interactive. It's just like pictures. Press this to do this, but like you only use 2 buttons. But even with that, I'm still like, my hand is still raised. Like what?
Right.
It's interesting, but it basically is like Monkey Target.
Okay.
But it seems all right. Played a game called Trios on the Switch. It's a game. It's a puzzle game where there's some operators and some numbers. So like, it starts off really simple. Like the answer is in the background. Like the number 4 is in the background, really large. You have a 2, a plus, and a 2. 2 plus 2 is 4.
So is it like Baba Is You, but with math?
It's not as good. Like Baba Is You was far more interesting and frustrating than that game. Than this game. Baba Is You was something. I did appreciate that game. No, it's not that interesting. At least not so far. It's a puzzle game, and it gets more difficult. Where at a certain point you have 4 or 5 numbers, and then you have division, subtraction. You have to just in order, just make sure you get the number that's like in the background or the top of the screen. It's just like math puzzles. I don't know. It is what it is. So if you like math puzzles, you probably like this game. I'm going to mispronounce this. This is Mushihimesama, the shoot 'em up.
I think so.
I've been playing. I don't know. I haven't played it much. I just have been. So I don't know. I'm enjoying that. I played Centipede Recharged on the Switch. So it's like a newer version of Centipede.
Yeah, they keep emailing about that.
It's
I've not looked at it.
A newer version of Centipede.
I
feel like they did this in the 360 era. Or am I wrong?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
But they've been doing like Defender Recharged and.
That's what Aqua Kitty's for, but that's a whole other thing.
A couple others. So. And
then the last thing I'm playing, at least a digital game, is Good Night. This is KNIGHT on Steam, where it's like it's a 1-button like bullet hell game. But like you're in an environment, there's enemies around you just spewing tons of bullets, and you like shoot with like is it 1 button? Like you aim with one of the analogs and you can shoot at the enemies, but then you have to hit A to switch directions. So you're constantly hitting A because you're always moving around. So you want to move around the bullets. So like because you're like around like this, not like a peg, but like you're around like a round structure. So you want to move to the other side quickly. So half the bullets covering the screen all hit the thing and not you. You want to switch around. It's very difficult, but I like it. It's pretty fun. And in terms of analog stuff,
looking at it now, it looks. I can't imagine liking this game.
Okay.
Oh, Mike.
It is difficult, and I'm pretty sure there's a seizure warning because it's just all.
Oh my god! I was thinking the exact the beginning of the trailer. I was just like, yep, no.
Yeah, now I have to see this.
Yeah, it's something else. So what else? Friend of the show, Suzanne from Restoration Games. I did a demo with her and Mike from the Brothers Murphy. You have no idea what I'm talking about. These are board games. Well, actually, this is a restoration of a game. Mike, maybe you know this one. Do you remember a game called Thunder Road?
I got the email about their Kickstarter this morning.
I played it on TTS, Tabletop Simulator, with Suzanne and Mike, and I have no nostalgia. I'd heard of the original.
I don't know the old game.
Yeah, I don't either. This is Thunder Road Vendetta, and actually the assets that were in a Tabletop Simulator were not even the finished ones. Of course, she showed us all the pictures. You can see all the stuff in the Kickstarter. It's fantastic. It is so much fun. I mean, it's a racing game, but like, the thing I like about it is like people who are like hobbyist board gamers and people who are just getting into it's for everybody. Like you are like it really feels like racing. Like you're rolling the dice, and you're placing them to move your piece X number of spaces. You can bring your helicopter in to just to shoot at other people, your opponents. I'm pretty sure I got rid of Suzanne's last vehicle, but I think shooting. What did I do? I shot. Was it her car? I don't know. I think I shot someone's car into like a helicopter, which it was crazy. And the thing about it is you move from left to right, and then as someone gets to all the way to the right, everybody kind of moves up, and then you add another board. So like even if you're like in the middle board, if you don't really advance, then you're as somebody else gets further along, you are further behind. But it's an interesting trade-off because even if you have one car, you can apply all your dice to that one car's movement, but you have one car. Because if you hit like the wall or the side, you're done. Like I guess thematically you've exploded or you're just no more. It is very fun. Like I think you would like this game.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to kickstart anything, but comes out. I'm curious enough from what you said that I would give it a shot. The thing they sent me made it look like the board is they look like micro machines.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's a Hot Wheel version of this game.
Yeah, and they're made to like stack too.
Sure.
Like the pieces. The helicopters look really neat. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I had no nostalgia. I just heard of it. But yeah.
What era, like what year did the original game come out?
1987.
80s. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I bet if I Google like a YouTube like commercial for this, I might go, oh, I remember that, but I didn't play it.
If you go,
I remember
1986. If you go to Board Game Geek, it came out in 86. Craziness. So yeah.
And what's it called one more time? Thunder
Road. The original was Thunder Road. The restored one is Thunder Road Vendetta.
Oh, that picture looks familiar. Yeah, that's a very different drawing.
Thunder Road, the Ram and Wreck survival game.
I really enjoyed it.
Murder your friends.
I could definitely see the Crossfire guy doing this commercial. So
the guy that died,
the guy who spins off into nothing. His parents can't pick him up, and it's like,
no, he's dead.
Where's Tommy? He spun off into space.
He's been lost in the.
Here's his sleeping bag and his uneaten pizza.
He's in that television show, The Land Before. No, what was it called? Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost.
He fell down to the crack in the floor, and now he lives with dinosaurs.
That was it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I played a game when I was at Congress of Gamers. That was a local convention I went to for the day on Saturday. Played a game called Sacred Rites, and I know it's normally social deception games are sort of hit or miss, and this one the theming is like you're a cult, and it's all these little envelopes you have, and everybody gets one each round, each turn. Everybody kind of gets an envelope, and either the envelope has a window in it, so you can see a card inserted, or it's flat on the bottom. So you take one card, pass it around, everybody slide without picking it. Everybody slides it into their envelope, picks it up. Now, if you are an outsider, instead of having an open window to read the card, it's going to say outsider. So you have no idea what this word is. So then everybody picks a tradition, and it's just like your tradition could be like cooking, it could be outdoor, it could be just random words. So whatever your clue, your word, your song, your poem should be about what your tradition is. Right. But the backdrop should be the word that almost everyone saw. So if you're an outsider, you have to sort of glean based on other people what the word is, and then at the end, you get to choose like who you think the outsider is. So if you don't get pointed at, you get a point. If you are an outsider and you like don't get found out, you get like 2 points. It's a really fun party game. Like I actually went on the Facebook Marketplace and picked it up for somebody in the area because I liked it. It was a lot of fun. It's called Second Rites. Unfortunately, the publisher went out of business. I think this year, so they stopped making games. But I had heard of it, and I just kind of was like, whatever. But I had a chance to play it. It's a lot of fun. It's goofy. It's stuff as people say. Like one time, the word was like spices, and somebody playing the game was like, they said varied and beautiful. I was like, that was the exact moment we knew that you did not know what the word was. When you said beautiful, it was like, yeah, you're the outsider. So I don't know, it's fun.
I mean, look, I've got spices that are very beautiful. It's beautiful on the palate.
Right. It's just a celebration. And
it's a celebration of beautiful flavors in my mouth.
No, you're still an outsider. I'm sorry, you're done. So,
who do you think I am? KFC?
Yeah, the euphoria that they inspired.
Yeah, just magic.
We played Tutankhamun. It's a fun game. There's different tiles. Trying to pick. It's a set collection game. Trying to pick the most pieces. Game called Kiitos, where you're trying to. I didn't really like this game. It's a game I brought actually, and I never played it. You're trying to complete words, but you can't. Like somebody starts off and puts a letter on the table and says the word that they want to have spelled. So someone else completes your word. You have to play a letter if you have it. So like if a D will complete someone else's word and you have a D and it's your turn, you have to play the D. So there's a trust factor to the game. It just
play the D.
Exactly. I know that's
sounds like Go Fish.
But there'll be some elements of that. It just felt like you might be able to be successful on happenstance. I just got kind of tired of like, if I could play the letter myself, I could get the points and keep it moving. I'm depending on everybody else to complete the words that I want. I'm like, nah, I'm good. So
that just sounds too on the nose of what's currently going on. Just depending on everybody else to do the thing that you want them to do.
Like a science project.
Yeah, like the science. Yeah, group project.
Group work. Yep. The one person who really does the work, and the rest of us were like, oh, showing up. Huh?
Yeah. I'm just here for the grade. I'm just here for the grade.
A good one, hopefully. And what else we play? Enchanted Plumes. Mike, you might like this one. I'll yeah.
Okay.
It's
sell me.
It's peacocks. Like you're trying to like.
I'm out. No, go ahead.
No, you're trying to. You could build multiple peacocks to earn points. The feathers use the top of the top row of the peacock are all negative points. You want to put the lowest numbers there. But then the only colors you can have to be based on the colors of the row that preceded it. So if you foolishly make a row with like 5 cards, if like 3, only 2 different colors amongst it, you only have 2 choices for the next row, and then so on and so forth. So I don't know. I really like it. I've played it before, but I played it again. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. The fun part sounds good.
The fun does sound good.
Okay, go ahead.
Then the last 2 are Mining Colony. I have this. This is from Dr. Finn's games. A lot of orange in this game, but I like it. The theming is you have Mike, your wife unfortunately will not like this game because there are polyaminos in it.
Okay,
and you're putting them on your own board and trying to configure them to like if you have 2 crystals the same color with a space between them, you get to build a science thing. If you have a worker and I forgot like some other unit or whatever in a space between them, you get to build this thing, and you're trying to earn points by like building on your own little board a little tableau. So it's fun. I liked it, and it's funny. I think we played Bonito's copy, but I have it. So and there's a solo mode in it, so I look forward to that. And last thing is I streamed the Big Pig game with Panda Angel Amanda yesterday on Twitch. A lot of fun.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the game Pandemic. It's a very popular.
Yes, I played it.
Okay, what'd you think of it?
Actually, I played. Let's see. There's different versions of it.
There's like 50 different versions.
Pandemic,
Yeah.
Legacy, and all that.
I don't know what it was called. I don't think it was the purely dice version.
I don't
know.
I have the regular one, and I have the first. It's called Pandemic: The Cure. That's one of the first.
Well, we
dice
lost big time. I'll say that. Like,
okay,
the humanity died. So
yeah. So this game is not. This game is co-op. It's not like Pandemic, but the theme is like you're a bunch of animals in this house. The people leave. You're trying to eat all the food before they get back. So you're all working together to sort of min-max every turn. So
Wait, did you say you're trying to eat all of their food before they get back?
That's the thing. The family leaves. You try to eat all the food before they drive back home. That's the game. It's a lot of fun. I really
It's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
I was gonna make that joke too.
Yeah.
We come home, there's no food, and there's some random person sleeping in my bed.
Yeah, not in my house. So all right, I've talked enough. So that's it for me. So Tony, what have you been playing?
I mean, we've really already kind of talked about the games I've been playing. Metroid Dread, I'm a good ways into it.
You loving those Emmy encounters?
I mean, again, like I said, you have to use the unique energy, so it's just run. Like, you do get the cloak ability in this one where you can kind of hide from their sensors, but you can't fight them unless you're in very specific circumstances.
Have you been able to counter any of them?
I have, when that stupid flash comes up, but only in handheld mode. I have not pulled that off on the TV yet. And I feel like that's because there's some latency.
That's not good.
So, and speaking of handheld, I think I'm at a point where I may be in the market for new Joy-Cons.
Oh.
That game has now pointed out that I have Joy-Con drift. And it sounds like an awful disease. Like, I have
say
Joy-Con drift.
Are you playing? You mean like you're playing in handheld mode and you want better Joy-Con attached to your system? That's what you're saying,
right? Like,
I want my
strongly suggest
to just go up.
Because I play 99% of the time on the television and controller.
I'm playing while I'm like watching something in the background. So
gotcha.
I do that too. I just still play.
I suggest these Hori controllers. Like, they're great.
Oh my god!
Like, they're bigger,
so that fit in a dock.
It fits directly into the dock because it sits out. They sit outside.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit in a case unless you get one.
You have to have
I got a case that
fits
this thing, but this is just regular Joy-Con with just the.
Aaron has the same case I have though, because that was the one that would fit this. Like, these are great. There's also one alternative. These do not work disconnected.
Right.
So like they have to be on the rail.
That's fine.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Conception.
But otherwise,
$50. That's
like,
not bad.
they have
Giving them away.
I've never used the assign buttons. They're like extra buttons on them, but like, it's just comfortable as compared to playing on just Joy-Cons, which are not. So on the other hand, I had the Zelda Joy-Con that Aaron had there.
With the actual D-pad.
Great. Yeah, with the actual
this thing
D-pad.
is clutch. Like this
but
is
like, again, Hori's not sponsoring this, but also actually has a D-pad. So
D-pad or bust. Like, you got to have a D-pad.
So anyway, I will mention this.
I might be going to a Best Buy tomorrow.
I saw. I got to have
name. Get no money.
I got to have hands on with the Switch OLED via our friend BC Terps.
Did it convince you to buy one?
I mean, I'm probably going to buy one anyway, and I'm going to hand this down to my nephews once I get the okay on that.
That reminds me, I need to check on that dock.
So, but like, it looks really nice. The thing that probably bugs me the most is because it still has to keep the same aspect ratio as the regular Switch. The menus don't take full advantage of the screen size. They're still essentially tied to the 6.2 inch screen or whatever this screen size is versus what's on the OLED. So you're like, oh, cool. So it's just black, like, bars kind of. So on the other hand, I did replace the back. I'm just going to remind people of that because this is an awesome back to my Switch. But anyway, So I thought the Switch OLED looked very nice. I have been seeing weird things that apparently, like, people aren't able to break 100 megs on the network port.
Brad just tweeted that it took him, what do you say, 4 days to download. That's ridiculous.
And I saw on like Modern Vintage Gamer and whatnot, like people are only getting like 75 megs on the integrated port. And I'm like, my USB port goes faster than that.
Yeah, wow. So
it's because it's all sharing the bandwidth of one. Like basically the Type C is only using the bandwidth of USB 2.0.
Well, so that's what some people are saying, and I need to go look, because in theory, I mean, that could be part of it, but you still should be able to get more. 75 seems real low for a network.
That's pretty low.
So anyway, we'll see. Hopefully they'll be able to upgrade it. The other weird thing is the people talking about like, oh, there's this chip inside the dock that could do 4K. And I mean, here's my answer. That's because that's the cheapest chip available in production right now for the it's not like
available.
Right,
They're not available. Really holding back on you, but they kind of are.
Right, like
I mean, but they will probably also use the argument of, well, guess what? We could have also listened to our Bluetooth headphones on the Switch, but they didn't enable it.
Well, right, but again, I will point to that. It's a weak radio, and that's why you have two controllers hooked to the same time.
No, I'm with you. So, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But if people will still undoubtedly point at, look, but they can enable the radio. They can definitely give us more bandwidth. They can give us the 4K. The capabilities are there. They're just
give us the 4Ks.
They're just hiding it.
Right. It's we'll see. I'm still waiting for them to announce their N64 stuff. That'd be wonderful.
$50 though, but they probably don't get my money because I love N64.
Not only that, I saw someone point out you could now play ukulele with a 64 controller.
Yeah, like $50 for a brand new, semi-authentic. I mean, Nintendo made like N64 controller. It doesn't seem abysmal.
No,
I mean, Genesis 3 button controller for $50
get out of here.
Is an absolute insult.
Right.
It is.
Yeah, get that out of here.
Especially when we know Japan is getting the 6 button.
Right. So that's Metroid Dread and the Switch OLED. Back 4 Blood, we talked about it. I mean, it's a lot like Left 4 Dead. The card system is real interesting. Like I said, I played through most of Act 1 with BC Terps and friend of the show, Jeff.
Bucko Jeff.
And like we had a lot of fun, and then we had a random person, like a random fourth, join us every time. So like I look forward to playing with people and also seeing like the versus mode. Though the weird thing that I've heard about the versus mode is, unlike in Left 4 Dead, where it's like you play through, the survivors are playing through the same level, and then it's just the zombies trying to stop them. It's more like an area control, like just last as long as you can kind of thing. So like the enemies keep spawning and you're just trying to hold this circle that's closing in as survivors. There is no, like, you're not playing through the level trying to get to the safe house, unlike in Left 4 Dead where it was just replaying the levels. So I mean, Back 4 Blood, if you have Game Pass, like, you're already paying for it, so you should probably give it a shot.
The best deal in gaming.
Right, like, and Game Pass, I enjoy Game Pass for a lot of reasons. This is just another one, and it works cross-platform. That's the other thing I will say. We were playing PC and Xbox last night. Another friend was playing PC and PS5 last night, and like it seems to work relatively well.
Now, is it going to go PS5 to Xbox, or
you can, because you get a unique identifier for your. So like I'm Tiny4150054 or #0054. So like everyone, no matter what platform you're on, get that unique identifier. And there is in-game audio. I hear it's kind of garbage. So like,
I mean, what in-game audio isn't?
Like you just want to use Discord.
When is Discord just going to put out an API and it's like, look, if you want in-game audio, use the Discord API.
Well,
and just plug in that way.
You could do that, but also. If maybe you were another large tech company that just, hey, how about you don't worry about your authentication? And then they fudge up the BGP update and suddenly take a lot of stuff offline. So again, maybe let's not centralize systems.
Look, you're right. I forgot that is one thing to argue. Look, just stay in your lane. Do the one thing you
they do really
very
good.
Yeah. Don't.
So There's some stuff to argue about diversifying the applications we use.
Well, I've made that argument too. But I mean, what do you think's gonna happen with PlayStation? Didn't they just like throw a whole bunch of money at Discord?
I think they did. Yeah.
Didn't Microsoft try to buy?
They try. I mean, both of them tried to buy.
Allegedly.
So anyway, we'll see.
Allegedly.
So I mean, those are both good. I want to play Far Cry 6, and Linux has been talking about that too. I'm just gonna wait for that to become cheaper. Also, and I'll put this out here real quick. I have Guardians of the Galaxy pre-ordered right now because a lot of people said it's Mass Effect, but with like an 80s styling to it, and I'm okay with that idea. Like that's how you tell me it's Mass Effect, and that's probably a way to sell me this game. So
going back to the Mass Effect,
I played through all 3 of those games on the collection.
I could not do it. It's like
I'm still waiting to go back to
the first one, so
the other one.
Probably go back and play an upgraded version of it.
So it's very. I mean, I also have the disc for that. I think.
I remember playing Mass Effect when I got on Twitter, and was like, you know what? There has to be something different. I was like, it has to be something different than like JRPGs. And Aaron suggested, have you tried Western RPGs? Like, no. And then he sent me his copy of Mass Effect. And then because of that, I played through all of them. But yeah, trying going back on PC is like.
So I'll put this out here. Mass Effect this time through on the remastered edition. I played through as FemShep for the first time, like completely. And I'm not going to say it was a huge difference, but there were definitely differences that I had not done before. And there was content that I found that I'm like, I don't remember. Like I probably did it, but it was a decade ago. Who knows?
I think that's how I was playing it. And I found that with most video games, even if a game I played like a year ago, if I'm watching like a stream or somebody playing, I don't remember any of this. Did I actually play this video game?
Like I went with a different ending that I never like. I ended up going with the ending where I took over all the Reapers because I was like, oh, everyone else gets to live. I'll have the control of the biggest, baddest weapon so that no one can threaten them anymore. And all it takes is, sacrificing myself.
Nobody can threaten me either.
So, like it was the right way to do it. But anyway, so that was that stuff. Talk about real quick news to get out of here. Dread runs really well on emulation, is my understanding.
On the PC.
On PC, like if you want to play Metroid Dread in 4K and whatnot, you can do that on PC already.
Yeah, Kotaku could have handled that by maybe not. They could have done it a little differently. I
have seen the original version of that article because was a Big Cheese Kit or Crit. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. He had posted that and like was in just disgust about it. And I was in Mega Ran's Discord where he had shared it too, and we were talking about it. And it's like, yeah, the original version of that article, the way they wrote it, yeah, it could have been better, but it's still that thing of it's the whole thing of like I understood the assignment. Like they were not encouraging piracy. They were saying, like, honestly, in looking at it, even without the context of reading the article, of knowing what they were talking about, what was actually in that article, they were sitting there saying that Nintendo along with other developers and publishers do a terrible job of game preservation. And luckily, we have people, yes, like pirates, people who probably aren't doing this for the right reasons, still providing us with these games to be able to play when we wouldn't be able to play them otherwise. Like here it is, we were sitting talking about the Mister, and all of those cores would not be available if we relied on the developers and the publishers to provide us with that stuff. Like I only know one developer that actually open sources code, and they don't do it that often. Like I mean, if I'm not mistaken, id Software is the only one. And
they that's legacy stuff. Like they're never going to do that again.
It's not like we're going to see Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal on GitHub. So I mean, granted, they're part of Microsoft now, so who knows?
But like, I guess, and I'm reading some of the comments, and like, I don't understand why it would be Kotaku's job to tell you should go buy. Because then Nintendo finds out about them. Like, guys, Nintendo knew about them years ago, bro.
Yeah, it's like, an open source emulator.
They pay lawyers and law firms to go figure all of this out. And like, it's becoming more of a clear pattern. As long as you don't make a game that is either remaking an existing game Nintendo's already made, or let's say parallel to it. So like, oh, Mario, the new Mario Sunshine one, the Eclipse, Mario Eclipse or whatever, which, okay, they're going to go after you. But if like if you make an original Nintendo like game based on a Nintendo property, they don't seem to be going after you. But like if you make an R2 or another Metroid 2 remake, shockingly, they also made one of those. So they're going to come after you. You make another Pokemon game, they're going to come after you. Like it's I don't know. It's weird to be like, I can't believe, like, don't talk about it because that's the only way Nintendo's not going to know. Like, bro,
if they don't know,
like
bro, like
it's really, and it's like, even like when I looked at the article, like I went to look at, well, to see if they were promoting piracy early on in the article. It's like, no, like the only links they provided were to the GitHub projects of 2 open source Switch emulators. Right. It's like,
it's
like you could do whatever you want with that. Like, this is not like there were any ROM links provided. Nobody was sharing it. Like, it wasn't like I would have had to have gone and really dug for that Metroid Dread ROM if I wanted it. Mm-hmm. It's like they did not make this easy for me to do. Like, what are we talking about? Like, this is about like it just that like the thing that was clipped out was like about game preservation, not about piracy. But unfortunately, it takes piracy to get it, but
it does.
That's not what that article was talking about. It's unfortunate we have to do the bad thing in order to get the good thing.
I mean, not necessarily. I don't know what it takes to go out and take here. I'm going to hold this, even though nobody can see it. This physical copy of Metroid Dread that I'm holding in my hand, and dump it yourself. Like, there has to be hard because somebody's doing this. Mm-hmm. Well, however these ROMs are being created, it's coming from digital or physical.
Right, you dump it through a Switch. Like, you hook your Switch up. Like, once you've hacked your Switch, it just becomes a drive. You copy it off. Like, that's the easiest way to dump this stuff.
See, I was hoping you were going to tell me just go to AliExpress.
I'm sure there is some
a Switch cartridge USB holder.
I'm sure there is some Switch reader thing, but like the easiest way is, again, once your device is hacked, you can just hook it up as a mass storage device and copy. Here you go. But like, again, that article didn't like give you the directions on how to do that. No. But even if it did, like, again, Frank Savaldi has a great like GDC talk from years back. Like, emulators are not illegal. They are. There is no reason to treat
assuming them. they're written legally.
Assuming they don't. Yeah, the emulator author does not go and steal copyrighted material like a BIOS or
a BIOS, right?
But emulators themselves are not illegal. Dumping your own ROMs is a gray area at best because. If you bypassing copy protection is the problem, not dumping the ROM. So then the question is, did you, like, if, for example, you turn this into a mass storage device and read it, as long as the copy protection is still in place, you did not bypass it.
But if there is no copy protection,
right?
For instance, like, say, a Sega CD.
Right. Then, or...
If a man can't breathe, a man can't fight.
But yeah, like, anyway, it's a whole thing. I don't know, the people that are like, this encourages piracy. Like,
no, I'm not saying that what they wrote was doing that. I just feel like they could have chosen. There's a way they could have done it to have maybe not have been as accused of doing that, even they were not doing that objectively. But
like the way that, at least I'm reading the people in the comments, is these people would prefer they had never put any article up talking about how Switch emulation works and how well this game runs in Switch emulation. Because by talking about that subject, you encourage people to pirate.
I mean, I guess there's possibly a nugget of truth in that statement, but like what I've always thought kind of are stuff. Any
people like nuggets.
Any PC emulator where you can take a disc that your PC can naturally read, like a CD or a DVD or whatever, and you're just, whether you're ripping it or you're just playing it off the disc, to me, I mean, not only you're not breaking any laws, but I mean, that's still the ideal. If the hardware that your PC has can take the emulator and run it better than the original hardware can, which is why I say, like, let's say there's just a USB to Switch game media reader that you can buy, plug into your computer, and just run Metroid off of that into this emulator that can output to 4K or 1440 or whatever the hell you want, and just make it look and run and play better. What's wrong with that?
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Nintendo has a different opinion.
But literally at the point where you have in this made up
Nintendo,
scenario,
Nintendo will argue that by emulate you are breaking their terms of service, and in doing that, that is where you are violating their rights. Because
when do you agree to the terms of service?
You are not playing their game on their official hardware.
Well, when you start up a Switch, for example, like the first time when you initialize it, you have to agree to it.
But in this scenario, you've never started up a Switch in your life.
In the game, I'm willing to bet I'd have to go look at what it says in the digital manual.
The thing that you don't I
just because you ignored the digital manual does not mean that it does not say it in said digital manual.
So but like there's plenty of games like EA games, Ubisoft games, all that stuff where you have to scroll down, you click a box, you agree to it. I have not played Metroid, but I'm willing to bet that is not at the beginning of that.
And that's fine. That's the ETOS, but there's also a terms of service generally in like a manual. There is no manuals anymore, but in the past, those would also be in there. Also, the ones
so
that say,
in the past that doesn't apply to this because it didn't come with. Also, it's not enforceable in the court of law.
Well, so there's the other thing. TOSs have never actually been enforced in a court of law yet, as far as I know. As of the last time I had to talk with someone who knows about this, but it does come with the game. Like the game has a digital manual. You choosing not to look at it doesn't make you not subject to it.
Not saying this just to argue, but where would one find such digital manual?
I believe you have to, when you put the game in and you look at like the other options. So I'm looking at.
Okay. We got real time.
I can hear this. In the background.
Yeah. So if you look at.
I think you illegally played a Nintendo noise.
Oh, I'm so happy to be on the last episode of GameEnthus.
There's no way this
grand
is
opening, grand closing.
There's no way this is going to work. So if you put a game in, you hit plus on the options, go to software information. You can look at the support, the important information, and intellectual property notes. Notice, guess where you think that's going to be?
I want to say that I love that the auto blur for Tiny censored out the Nintendo screen.
Right,
you can't see.
It's not. You're not a person. So anyway, according to this, you can only use it on the system. Nintendo and Mercury Steam Software are authors of the software for the purpose of copyright all rights. According to the license condition thereafter, the published software must be provided a copy of the license and copyright notice through software required for third parties. I mean, I can keep reading, but like it's going to be in here.
I mean, wasn't it like the first thing you said? Like it has to be played on that system?
It was just saying like you have to have a legitimate copy.
Oh.
I'm all for that. Look, I mean, especially
the issue is
stuff that's for sale.
Yeah, from what I'm understanding, like Mike's issues are not so much like I don't own the game. I just don't own a Switch.
Which they'll argue again
I
don't even mind that. Like I've got the Switch, but if there is a scenario where I can legally play, I can take.
If my RTX
again, holding this copy of Metroid Dread, physical copy.
If my RTX 3080 Ti could play Metroid Dread in 8K and 60 FPS.
The 5 people that are watching this, I hope you enjoy this. I'll put it this way. This is the exact argument that was around the Polystation and Bleemcast. Like, you had to own the game. You had to own... No. This is the Poly CD station. So this was a piece of software that came out for the Macintosh that could run PlayStation 1 games.
Okay.
And this was about the same time as Bleem. But like...
Yeah, Apple, I think I remember hearing about it. I don't remember that being the name, but go ahead.
Apple featured this on stage at one of their shows, because you could do this, and you had to have a copy of the game. You had to have there were parts, and they ultimately won. But by the time that they had gone through all the legal rigmarole with Sony, the company was essentially out of business, and I think Sony ended up buying them and just throwing away the key to that software.
That.
It's in several of the history books that I'm more than happy to lend out whatever.
And Bleem video on it.
So yeah,
Bleem just basically ran out of money fighting it, right?
That's the same idea. As long again, and that's why. So remember when the Nintendo Mega Leak and all that stuff came out, and people were like, "Yo, we can't touch this because this is the poison apple."
Yeah.
If any developer uses this information,
Then
Nintendo can say
stolen,
you're stolen copyright information and blah blah. Yeah.
If you admit to seeing Luigi's face in Mario 64, your emulator's instantly illegal.
If you break into the patent trade office and then claim that you're only looking at the the lockout
I was going to
chip.
say I was going to go into that. Yeah, like the Tengen, how Tengen was able to do the lockout chip, or how in theory EA backwards engineered the Genesis originally when they were doing their reviews with their stuff with Sega. Like all that's like all this stuff has ended up, as long as you're not using the proprietary software, that's fine. And like if you like, I own a bunch of I own Dread, I own a Switch, I own all this stuff. So if I have the ability to play it in a higher fidelity, what does Nintendo care? They've gotten all the money out of me they can for this transaction.
The ones that are screaming and complaining are the ones who did not do that.
Right, exactly. It's like
like you were saying the quiet part out loud.
Right. Anyway, it's so whatever. And that's why I have no shame on the Mister stuff. Like, yo, let's whatever.
Y'all are not selling. Y'all are not selling this. So
right, and that's the other weird thing. And a lot of the comments on that Kotaku article are this way. They're just mad because the game just came out. It's not the emulator part. It's not the that. It's this is talking about a game that came out this week or whatever. And that's weird. I want to defend Nintendo, but only for the first 6 months.
The game sold well.
Get out of here. Anyway, yeah.
And that game sold well. So it was man, y'all get out of here.
That article, the reaction to that article is done. Anyway, we should Linux. What do you let's wrap this up. Shout outs, plugs, all that stuff. So
well, thank you. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for having me again, for acquiescing to my many pleas to do this on Wednesday, and then I can always do my show tomorrow. It's great, fantastic. I love it. Fantastic! Thank you. Thank the family, my wife, my son, for allowing me to not sit downstairs with them and watch. Was it? I forgot what they're watching on TV.
Some
now.
ABC programming.
No, not ABC. What is ABC? You've got Hulu and Netflix.
I believe that's how you referred to as split seconds format.
Oh, right. That was back when I had cable. I don't know what that is now.
What's cable?
ABC is just a thing that you stick a large piece of metal up into the sky and it beams to your television.
That's how that works.
ABC is where I get adult beverages.
We got distracted. Let's get back to.
Definitely give a thanks to my crew over there, Tech Talk Thursdays. Of course, you can catch us each and every Thursday, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/Major Linux, and also over at majors.house/TTT. Of course, the Major Linux Show, also over at twitch.tv/Major Linux, and archives of that over at youtube.com/Major Linux and majorlinux.com. I'm trying to remember all these websites because last time I was here, I forgot all of them.
No worries.
Yeah, it's plugins I want to thank my family. That's it. It's oh wait, I actually do things outside of my family. Maybe I should plug them. Shout out to LANFest. Again, we're having the Boys and Girls Club of Hollywood event on November 6th and 7th. Raising funds for the Boys and Girls Club of Hollywood. Some big name stars and celebrities. I was told not to tell who's going to be there, but again, very big names. Sure, whoever that is, I don't know.
Up and at them.
Their goggles, they do nothing.
It's ringing a bell now. And also for those who happen to be listeners who live near me, one, how have we not met? Two, Twitch Raleigh is having an event on November 13th. It'll be my first event doing anything since all this started. Again, fully masked, fully vaccinated, and because I'm one of the people running it, I will be enforcing. I will be the enforcer.
I can see your nostrils. I should not be seeing your nostrils.
Oh my god,
that's another thing. People that just wear the mask wrong. What the? Dude, it is 18 months into this. How did?
There was somebody who went to the restroom today, and after using it, instead of washing their hands, they pulled out hand sanitizer and then walked out.
See, I thought you were going to say they dried their hands off.
They looked at it and then put their nasty hand on the doorknob and walked out.
That's not how this works. But okay.
I do have one question for you.
Yes. Tiny415. You have a question,
Mr. Linux. Will you be taking over the Fiverr contract when Will moves down to the North Carolina area? I'm just wondering how that will be continued to be handled. So
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with this.
Will.
I'm not familiar with this.
Tremendous actor.
He met Will.
Many Oscars and Emmys.
Again, we're not disagreeing. Will's we're not arguing. Will's not a real person, like some
He's
AI
on the
contract
show
or whatever.
3 times.
But again, I'm sticking with Fiverr actor.
Okay. Now, I can confirm that this is indeed a real individual. I have met him, and I cannot wait for him to move to North Carolina.
Yeah. We've all met the greatest actor in the history of mankind.
Greatest actor.
Aaron doesn't have friends at work. That's all we're gonna say.
So he's running multiple Twitter accounts. Is that what's happening here?
I do.
So
I'll show you.
But yeah, that's it. I'm online. Hit me up. Major Linux almost everywhere. All social media, past, present, and future, at Major Linux or variations thereof.
All right. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Mike.
I do, as I always encourage anyone who is eligible to donate blood, and for anyone who has pets to have them spayed or neutered professionally.
What should we do with the blood, though?
The people who take it know what to do with it.
I mean, to be fair, you did say for those who were eligible to. I think
does it have to be my blood? Can I just show up?
If you
just show up with like a sweet and sour container full of blood, like are they gonna be okay with this?
If you're eligible to donate blood,
I forgot the comma. That's what it was. Don't mind me.
So
there we go. I'm sorry. No, that was on me. In my head, I didn't place a comma where it should have been, so it read differently for me.
All right, let me dumb this down for anybody who doesn't get it. Don't show up to the Red Cross with a bucket of red and expect them to have anything.
What about a handful?
Oh yeah, that's true.
I've got
the bucket isn't the important part.
Communion style.
I have this solo stuff.
Just unkempt blood is not exactly what they're looking for.
Gotcha. So what you're saying is it should be in its original container upon arrival.
Right. So what you want to do is, if you're going to donate your old blood the really horrifying way, wait till you get there.
Gotcha.
Just so y'all know, this is what I do in my car. I will just comment randomly. I know y'all can't hear me, but this is what I do every day. I'm sorry. I derailed again.
What else you got, Mike?
I think I finished, but I don't even know.
All right, I will go. Linux, it's been a pleasure chatting it up with you again. Hopefully, I will see you in
sooner rather than later.
Yeah, maybe at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. Hopefully,
we'll pencil it in somewhere.
Okay.
We'll see how everybody else does their group assignment before.
And we'll see what the results are.
Yeah.
Shout out to the people who in the chat, listeners. I think Panda was in there, Jay was in there, Jess who rated. Appreciate you, Scoop Moose, anybody else who's in the chat.
I saw BC Terps in there.
BC Terps.
I got a text explaining what DOSA is. Which means there was someone else in there.
Nice.
Was it a correction?
I mean, it was.
I'm no expert. I'm
dosa
very
is
new to dosa.
A South Indian dish made from fermented rice and usually stuffed with potatoes and eaten with vegetable curry.
That sounds amazing.
I'm glad you mentioned South Indian because that was something that somebody I was eating with did specify. They said, "Oh, it's nice to go to a restaurant that has South Indian cuisine," and I did not know. I please tell me more. So But,
the only thing I will say is there's one place here that makes a Nutella dosa, and it's essentially like Nutella built into the pancake, and it's delicious.
Sounds
but it's not made with fermented beans. So
I think I'm going to stick with this.
It just sounds like a Nutella crepe at this point.
Pretty much, all it is a Nutella crepe, and it's delicious. So
with a different name.
So.
If you want to leave us feedback, you can always email us at podcast@GameEnthus.com. Leave us a voicemail at 202-573-7686. And all our stuff will be in the show notes or on GameEnthus.com. All our Twitter information, the YouTube stuff, all that good stuff. Tiny.
Hey, it's October 13th. Have you signed up to help your local Children's Miracle Network hospital? I don't. I know. I mean, everyone. Everyone on this podcast is signed up and is raising as part of Team GameEnthus. Team Extra Life. You can go to extra-life.
Well, that's also true.
You can go to extra-life.org to sign up. You can also go to GameEnthus.com/extra-life and donate to your favorite GameEnthus personality. 100% of what you donate goes to their local Children's Miracle Network hospital. We have people raising for Children's National, Duke's Children's Hospital, John Hopkins, Benioff Children's Hospital out in California, and the oldest children's hospital, aka the best, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
That's a way to look at it, but okay.
Yeah, is that how that works?
That's a way.
I'll put this another way.
You can be wrong.
Top three hospitals from Newsweek this week. None of the other ones I mentioned were there. It's cool.
That's a weird flex. I'm just going to
it's
say
very,
that's a weird
flex.
Again, I'm trying to raise money. As I was explaining to someone, sometimes you get competitive about weird stuff. Someone has to be number one.
Yeah, sometimes.
The kids in my local community are number one.
That's a very nice thing.
Not the hospital wars, not politics. It's the children.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's about.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's cool. And I agree. The children in my hospital are also number one. I just want them to be more number one.
All right.
So again, you can go to extra-life.org, sign up to raise for over 170 different children's hospitals across Canada and the US. Or like you said, you can go to GameEnthus.com/extra-life. Donate to your favorite Game Enthus personality. Everyone on here.
Puerto Rico too.
Puerto Rico is part of the US.
I like
it's weird to go either way.
I guess
either you mention it or if you're talking
some
about
people
countries,
some people don't know that.
Those people need to anyway. Whatever. That's a whole discussion.
Whole other,
we don't need to go down this point. But anyway, so go to GameEnthus.com/extra-life, donate, and like I said, 100%, and we will be figuring out what we're going to do for GameEnthus Extra Life stream sometime soon. I need to post some stuff in the Discord. So and I think with that, that's it.
All right.
We'll be at GameSwap 2022 in April 2nd.
Hey,
hopefully all of us will be there.
And that's the last time you'll hear from anybody until then.
So
hopefully.
And with that, let's get out of here.
All right. Peace.
I am reaching for my power cord as we speak.
Yoink.